mistake. He can't hurry policy pronouncements. He can't hurry things just because Nigerians are expectant. He has to be methodical. He has to take his time. He has to study the extent of the damage before he knows where to go, before he can chart a future direction, before he can chart a veritable direction for his government. So I think that's where the expectation management aspect of it is critical, I think, because not only as a president, not only are you trying to fulfill the expectation of those who voted you into power, but you are also trying to manage those expectations. And after he won the election, Buhari was very, I think he did something that really impressed me, which was to tamp down the expectations, to bring people back from the high, from the euphoria of the victory, and to tell them, look, this is going to take time. It's going to require a collective effort. I can't do it alone. But beyond that, you have to give me time to study things. This damage was not done in a day, and certainly we can't fix things in a day. So he did that, and I think Nigerians are very understanding. I always like to tell people that, we Nigerians, we are very fickle. We are very easy to please. It takes very little to please us, especially in our relationship with our political leaders. But it takes very little to tick us off and to get us angry. It takes just one event for Nigerians to lose faith in their leaders, for that core, that social contract between Nigerians and their leaders to be severe. And once it's severe, it's very hard to restore it. So Buhari has to be mindful of that.
Okay.
I think Nigerians will give as much time as he needs to fix things.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you, what other things stood out from that speech for you?
I think on a symbolic, rhetorical level, he said, I'm going to be president for everyone, for all Nigerians. And that includes the millions of Nigerians who did not vote for him. Let's not forget, this was a hard-fought election. It became anticlimactic to some extent because the former president considered, was very generous and very magnanimous in accepting defeat. But prior to that time, we had a divided nation, and nobody knew what was going to happen. There was a lot of bitterness. There was a lot of mutual, recriminations. There were a lot of, friendships were torn apart. Relationships were broken because of this election. You have to, I saw some of it on social media, and there was a lot of bitterness and division in the country. And so for him to say that, I think it represents his commitment to healing, to healing those divisions, those cleavages that divide us, those fault lines, as it were. Because to rebuild the country, we are going to need unity. We are going to need to come together and buy into the agenda that Buhari has for the country. And for him to say that, I think it's a very powerful symbolic statement that he's not going to allow the bitterness and the divisions of the elections to persist and to soil and contaminate the atmosphere and make his job harder. And so I think that was very significant for me.
Now, the speech, Boko Haram had about three paragraphs in the speech. One of the things he said was that the military will now move the defense headquarters to Maiduguri. Do you think that is significant?
It is. Again, one doesn't have to interpret these statements literally. I don't think he's going to move all the equipment and all the FCC. We're not going to see a physical movement of the defense headquarters or a building of a new defense headquarters in Maiduguri. These things are symbolic. These things are supposed to communicate to the military echelon, to the top echelon of the military that, look, I'm not going to run this war from a distance. I'm going to be a hands-on commander-in-chief. That is what it says to the military hierarchy, unlike the past administration where everything up until the last moment, everything was coordinated from Abuja by the military bigwigs who were not on the ground, who didn't see what was happening in the battlefield, who didn't see the plight of the soldiers, who didn't see the challenges confronting them, who actually didn't see and therefore underestimated the strength of Boko Haram on the ground. Unlike the previous template, unlike the previous paradigm, Buhari is saying by this pronouncement that I'm going to be, as a commander-in-chief, I'm going to be on the ground. I'm going to be where the action is, which is in the northeastern part of the country. Maiduguri, everybody agrees, is the epicenter of the crisis of the Boko Haram uprising. It used to be the headquarters. The city used to be to house the headquarters of Boko Haram. So I'm going to confront them where they are located. We're going to move military planning, the logistical aspect of the military, the planning department, everything is going to be in Maiduguri. So it's a very powerful symbolic statement that indicates, again, the seriousness with which he regards the threat of Boko Haram.
Now, one aspect of his speech that a lot of people are still thinking about is the issue of whether to probe past administration or not. He talked about being willing to settle old scores. But also he said, talking about the division of the government, in terms of the local government, the state government, and the role of the federal government, he said that I will not have kept my own trust with the Nigerian people if I allow others to abuse their own trust under my watch. How is he going to navigate this? I mean, in terms of playing the role that the Constitution gave out or outlined without infringing on the rights of other government levels, so to say?
Listen, I mean, it's a delicate balance. You know, it's a delicate balance. It's not going to be easy. One thing I do know, because he's constrained by the Constitution, like you said, he has to go by the protocols of governance laid down by the Constitution. He cannot operate outside of those protocols and those procedures. But at the same time, you know, I like to say to people, we are Africans. And as Nigerians, we're a subset of Africans. And in my studies, and I teach about these things, I like to look at Africans being culturally different. We come from a different political tradition, and that traditions condition us, socialize us to take our cues from the person at the top, from the leader, from the authority figure, whether that person is a president or king or chief or CEO or whatever. We are conditioned by our culture to look at what is going on at the top, to take our signal from there. So I think it's going to be, while he cannot dictate to the states and to the local governments, I think his example, his personal example, the body language that people see coming out of Aso Rock is going to be critical in instilling discipline, in instilling a different governing temperament to people, to political operative at the state level, at the local government level. I think it's going to be critical. His personal example, you know, don't underestimate that. It could go very far because of our culture. We like to see what the man at the top or the guy at the top is doing, and then we take our cue from there, and that trickles down and dictates what goes on at the lower levels. So I think, you know, let's not underestimate that. Even within the ambit of democracy, that can still be very important.
One last question. We're really out of time. I know you wrote a book on the caliphate, the Sokoto Caliphate, a well-acclaimed book. I want to ask you, what happened today is actually a geopolitical shift in power from the south to the north. It's also something that is very important in Nigeria. What do you think would be the way the political base of President Buhari is going to impact the administration?
Well, every president, every politician has his home base, as it were. For Buhari, it's the Northwest. But, you know, given what we know about this election, the fact that his mandate is very national, which is a Nigerian mandate because he enjoyed support from virtually all parts of the country. There was a broad-based coalition that brought him to power. I think it's going to be significant in multiple ways. He's going to obviously need the home base, his constituency, to support his agenda, and then go out there from that home base, spread out, and try to win other geopolitical entities around, to bring them around his agenda, to enable them, to help them buy into his agenda. But I think more symbolically, what that means is that even the people in his home base, the Hausa Fulani or the Muslims, whatever you want to call them, now realize that Buhari does not belong to them, that they cannot monopolize Buhari, they cannot constrain Buhari. Buhari is a national political figure. There's a weight of expectations from all parts of the country that are weighing down on him. And they cannot expect that he will do what pleases them, that he will kowtow to their interest all the time. Yes, he's going to give them a few things, but it's also going to have to cater to the interest of the generality of Nigerians, the people that voted for him en masse in different parts of the country. So I think it says to them that, look, the era of caliphate domination, I really I don't like to use this word, but the era of this caliphate domination, as the Southern press like to put it, in Nigerian politics is over. Even though we have a Northern Hausa Fulani president, he really does not, he is not going to be able to operate in that mode. He's not going to be an Hausa Fulani president. He cannot be, because of the circumstances of his ascendance to the presidency.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Moses Achano. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
All right. That has been Professor Moses Achano, Professor of African History at Vanderbilt University. When we come back, we are going to talk to the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, who is in Abuja currently. So stay tuned.
You make me see what's pure and true. Yes, you are extraordinary woman. You are the one who brings me joy, to cast out every lingering doubt that you are extraordinary woman. Yes, I.
And this is Lucky Dahon saying, yes, stay tuned on Sahara TV.
Yes,
don't go away.
Yes, indeed, it's Isaac. How? That's how we do it. Red Star, representing. Now watch Sahara TV, don't go anywhere. Africa. Oh shit, let's go.
I am like you more and I like you when I invite you to my party, because I like you and energize you and advertise you to my party. I'm a champagne papa and I want to know you. Yo, what up? This is your boy YQ, and you're watching Sahara TV. It's all about Africa, it's all about the continent, and it's all about one people. And this is Africa.
What am I people? What's going on? It's your favorite boy, Whiskey, Revenue, and Music. Guess what? You're watching Sahara TV Africa. Keep watching because we just say so. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? It's IYANYA. Check with my crew. Classic. Emanara. You're watching Sahara TV. Everything like Africa. Proud. Alright?
This is Bim Fernandez, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Where you are, in Africa, Europe, America, I remain the success, don't mind my voice. Finance, don't mind my voice. Most handsome, don't mind my voice. I'm a man number one. Fine boy. Alright, be a good boy, be a good girl, be a good woman, be a good woman. Love your husband, love your wife. No fighting in Africa, one nation, one world, one love. Keep watching. Sahara Reporter, I remain the success. Fine boy.
Hey, beautiful Sahara TV.
Yo, man, my name is DTN. Now you're watching Sahara TV. Big up.
My name is Dak Joby. You are watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
And Sahara TV came here to give me an opportunity to say hello to all my fans and to say that I love you. But on the behalf of Rent is Too Damn High Party, and I thank Sahara Reporter TV for giving me the opportunity to be myself. Once again, we love you. I love you forever. Rent is too damn high.
This your boy Smokey Suarez. I'm at the Gramercy Theater. We on Sahara TV. Make sure y'all keep supporting it. Sahara TV, the #1 station in the nation. Holla at your boy Smokey Suarez. Peace.
Hi, my name is Ishmael Bia. I'm from Sierra Leone and an author, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa. Peace.
We are Mother Africa. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Stanley.
My name is Aluchi.
You're watching Sahara TV,
Everything Africa.
Everything Africa.
The dividend of our nascent democracy is dripping down to the people gradual by gradual. The transformation is in progress, and the progress is transformational. Yes?
Ezekiel from Standard Newspaper. How do you think you would be best described by the time you finish your second term?
Well, I am just a humble man doing my little part. But if the people say I am doing well, who am I to disagree?
Your Excellency, yes, Titilayo from Satellite Newspaper. We just want to commend you for a job well done. what plans do you have for women?
I am always willing to help out our women. I have plenty of them working for me. Some are on top of me, and some work under me. Next.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jose Mohabon from Sahara Reporters.
This press conference is officially over.
Was it something I said?
Hello, I am from Sahara TV. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Ah, Mugbe, another Sahara.
Welcome back to Sahara TV coverage of the inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari. I have to get used to that. So we are now going to Abuja to speak to the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore. For the first time, we can tell you for sure he's in Abuja, which is a change, part of the change that took place in Nigeria. So Sowore, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you for bringing me, brother.
Yeah. All right. So what did you see today? What happened? What's your impression of the events today in Abuja?
It was a very, very calm event. I would say it wasn't the best organized, I have to tell you. I think the U.S. Secretary of State was held up in huge traffic. I also observed at the point that there was some security breach. The young people around the venue of the inauguration overpowered the military at the point and almost stormed the Eagle Square, which is only seen by a few of us. But otherwise, there was no problem as such, except that the PDP inauguration invitation cards were not given to their members. So that section of the Eagle Square was not filled up. Yes, completely empty.
Wow.
And we had an interesting, there were a lot of African leaders, and we had an encounter with Robert Mugabe. And it's very interesting. We're working together to film up, I mean, to you guys, where myself, Adeola, and I kept asking him when he would step down, and if he will allow free and fair elections to happen in his country, so that we too can go to Zimbabwe to attend an inauguration of this type. So,
did he answer you? I think your Skype froze. The internet connection, which is something that needs to change too in Nigeria, we will try to reconnect with Sowore. Okay, Sowore, go ahead. I had your back.
Okay, we lost him again. We'll let you know when you get him back.
Okay. All right. So he was talking about the encounter they had with President of Zimbabwe in Nigeria who attended the event. I understand that several other African leaders were there, and they tried to talk to them about democracy in Africa. And being that they came to Nigeria to be part of this event, when people are going to come to their countries to attend an event like that, it will be interesting to know when we get the videos, we are going to show you these encounters with African leaders or so-called leaders. Also, we want to talk to him about events in other parts of the country, because we tend to forget that several governors are taking office today too, or have taken office today, and old ones have gone. Places like Abia State, Enugu State, in Plateau State. So there are several changes taking place across the countries. Of course, you know that we have our show tomorrow, our regular show tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., where we will continue this discussion, and we will expand it to talk about events that took place in several capitals of states across Nigeria today. While we wait to reconnect with Sowore, I want to also tell you that at the top of the hour, we are going to give you the chance to give us feedback on today's events. What did you see? What do you think about the event? Were you there? You can join us through the phone or through Skype to give us your feedback on what you think. Also, we expect to talk to Professor Okendibe down the road, maybe in another 15 minutes. We want to know his impression of the things that happened today in Nigeria. And we have other guests that we are trying to reach. Of course, Dr. Bremer, who is a regular on this show, is also in Abuja. He's waiting to join us and give us his own take on what happened. If we have enough time, we'll go back to Adiola, who is ready to give us more of the updates of the events that took place today. I think, okay. I understand that Showere's battery is dead, and we are going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk to Professor Okendibe. Stay tuned.
My name is Kaline, and you are watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Woo! Hi, I'm Nekfino Swan.
And I'm Demi Ajayi.
And we're from Women Work, a nonprofit for women's empowerment.
And you're watching Sahara TV for Everything Africa.
My name is Kelechi Okere. I'm the host of the web series, The Palm Print, where we talk about the lives of Africans in the diaspora and on the continent as portrayed in novels. This is Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hello everyone, my name is Tokwe Esson, executive producer of the Nigeria Entertainment Award NEA, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa. Keep it locked.
President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the purpose of being sworn in as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency. Yemi Osinbajo, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. The oath of office. I, Yemi Osinbajo, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interests to influence my official conduct or my official decisions. That I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th Schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That in all circumstances, I will do right to all manner of people according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my considerations or shall become known to me as Vice President of the Republic of Nigeria, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Vice President. So help me God. Round of applause, please. Round of applause, please.
Des applaudissements très chaleureux, s'il vous plaît.
A new chapter at the vice presidential level. His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Excellence, Monsieur le Vice-président du Nigeria, Monsieur Yemi Osinbajo.
His Excellency Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Hearty and very warm congratulations, sir.
Des félicitations très chaleureuses, Monsieur, Votre Excellence, Monsieur le Vice-président de la République du Nigeria, Monsieur Yemi Osinbajo, professeur.
Hi, I'm IYANYA, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, I'm ENIKA from Moshu. Hi, I'm CHRISTINA and I'm modeling here today. And you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
I'm one This is Isaac Catalai, straight from the DRC. You know, giving shout out to Sahara TV, where everything Africa.
Hi, this is Martha Slay. Keep watching Sahara TV. Woo! Everything Africa.
Hi, I'm Aliyah Muhammad, president of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Untitled Chapter, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
ABC, ABC, ABC.
Meet
Nigeria's new president, Muhammadu Buhari, born on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina. Buhari is the 23rd child of his father, Adamu Buhari. He attended provincial secondary school, which is now known as Government College in Katsina, before serving in the Nigerian military from 1961 to 1985. After graduating from the Nigerian Military Training College, which has now become the Nigerian Defense Academy, and whilst in the military, Buhari furthered his education at the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England, the Army Mechanical Transport School in Borden, United Kingdom, the Defense Services Staff College in Wellington, India, and the U.S. Army War College in Pennsylvania, consecutively. From 1975 to 1976, he, under the leadership of Murtala Mohammed, was appointed the governor of Northeastern State, which is now known today as Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, Taraba, Adamawa, and Gombe states. From 1976 to 1978, Buhari, under the military leadership of General Olusegun Obasanjo, was appointed the Minister for Petroleum and Natural Resources, as well as the chairperson of the newly founded Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. On December 31st, 1983, he became Nigeria's 7th head of state after a coup that overthrew the democratic elected government of President Shehu Shagari. Despite being famous for tackling corruption in his time, Buhari's administration was also marred by various human rights violations. In August of 1985, his government was overthrown by General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who imprisoned him for 3 years. After his release, later Buhari served as the chairperson of Petroleum Trust Fund under the leadership of the late General Sani Abacha from 1994 to 1999, before launching his campaign for re-election under a democratic government. But then in 2003, Buhari, now a civilian, contested the presidential election as the candidate for the All-Nigerian People's Party, the ANPP. He was defeated by the People's Democratic Party nominee, who was then President Olusegun Obasanjo at the time. In 2006, Buhari ran again as the candidate of the ANPP, but was defeated by the PDP's Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who also hailed from his home state of Katsina. In 2010, he left the ANPP for the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, a party he had helped found. Buhari was the CPC presidential candidate in 2011 election and was again defeated, this time by the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan of the PDP party. In 2015, for the 4th time, Muhammadu Buhari stood for elections, but this time clinched success against the PDP's incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. Muhammadu Buhari won Nigeria's presidential election, defeating the long-ruling People's Democratic Party and President Goodluck Jonathan in a historical but contentious tight race. Buhari, who was 72 years old and also the former military dictator, won 15.4 million votes against Jonathan's 13.3 million votes, according to a Reuters tally in all 36 Nigerian states. President Jonathan was a worthy opponent, and I extend the hand of fellowship to him. Buhari told this to journalists and supporters to loud applause. Before Buhari won the election, he made a statement about concentrating on 3 major areas in Nigeria, which are notably insecurity, the economy/unemployment, and corruption. He promises his administration will nip insecurity in the bud. Buhari also stated that immediately after his inauguration on the 29th of May, 2015, he would want to be referred to as Muhammadu Buhari instead of General Muhammadu Buhari. Most people believe President Buhari is going to bring about the change Nigeria desperately needs, and also because of the past record of a lack of tolerance for corruption. There is a chance for a better Nigeria. Please join us on SaharaReporters.com and also on SaharaReporters.tv. and also subscribe on our live stream and YouTube channels.
This is IYANYA, the Hosa, founder, executive director of Pathfinders Justice Initiative, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Dimeji Anwale. You're watching Sahara TV. Don't touch the dial. Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Bosso Zijana, the CEO of Corporation of Lagos, Nigeria. Keep watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, my name is Kibon Nfi. I'm a fashion designer. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi everyone, it's Nkechinyere Eke Jumbo, or I Tweet Niger, and you are watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa. Yeah!
My name is Joy Ikedema Jacob, the director for Miss Nigeria USA pageant. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. We are continuing our coverage, special coverage of the inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Now we are going to go to Connecticut to talk to Professor Oke Ndibe. Professor Ndibe is the author of Foreign Gods Incorporated, amongst other books. Professor Ndibe, welcome to Sahara TV. All right, I understand that we lost him briefly, and we're going to try to get him back. And when we get him back, we are going to talk about his impression of what happened today. A lot of people are weighing in, and we are going to give you the chance to weigh into and let us know what you think about the events of this historic day. We have a new president in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. What are your expectations? Are things going to change? Everybody seems to be hoping, and we are optimistic, but what are the realities on the ground? He talked about several things. I was struck by many of the discussions around some of the things in his speech. He talked about the shame that a country like Nigeria, with over 180 million people, could only generate 4,000 megawatts of electricity and even distribute less of that number. So we're going to discuss this, and he talked about the fact that we've invested over $20 billion since 1999. Yet we have darkness, frustration, misery, and resignation among Nigerians over the issue of power. There is the same question about the issue of fuel, petrol, the fact that we are a top country in the world in terms of production of fuel, but we cannot produce crude oil, but we cannot refine it and for our people. So we understand that we now have Professor Ndibe back, and we are going to go to him. Professor Ndibe, welcome back to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much. My delight.
Yeah. Okay, I introduced you as the author of the book Foreign Gods Incorporated. And I wanted to say, based on what happened today, do you think that democracy is now established in Nigeria?
Well, I don't think one can make a claim as broad and large and ambitious as that. But we can say that this is today represents a very important step on the path of democratic growth in Nigeria. I don't think we can say that democracy has arrived. I would say that we've turned the corner. And today is a very important day in the evolution of what one hopes will become a very vibrant democratic culture in our country.
Okay. So what is your impression of the speech, general impression first, then we go into details?
I think that Buhari gave a truly brilliant speech. I think that the speech was short, relatively. The speech strikes very important notes. That the speech perhaps was calculated to be reassuring to all kinds of political interests in the country who expect or who fear that Buhari might become.
Are you there? Professor Ndibe? Okay, I understand that we have connection problems with Professor Kendibe, and we are going to try to reconnect with him and continue our conversation. We want to know what he thinks about the speech that Buhari gave today and the general impression of the mood of the country, the expectations of people about the incoming, the administration that just came in, and whether the expectations are something realistic. Also, we want to address the issue of the Niger Delta, which was discussed in the speech. Buhari mentioned that the amnesty program will end in December, but that the government, his government, will continue to invest in the place, in the Niger Delta. There are other issues that we've not touched in our conversation. For instance, the judiciary. How are we going to make sure that they play their role? Buhari mentioned the fact that the judiciary needs reform to cleanse itself from its immediate past. Of course, you know the breakdown of the government. If the judiciary is not functioning, the executive may not be able to implement some of the things they want to see implemented. We are going to touch on Boko Haram too, because it continues to be an issue. News report is saying that today there was a bomb blast. So the Boko Haram people are still putting themselves in the conversation. And we know that Buhari spent considerable amount of time talking about Boko Haram and what needs to be done and how that should be dealt with. Of course, we will talk about the general atmosphere of the country, what is possible, what is not possible. We know that the former president, at the last minute, submitted the National Conference report to the National Assembly. I'm sure that they did not do anything with it, but I think he wanted to put that in as part of the conversation, something that the incoming administration will have to deal with in some ways. Every other thing that is necessary, okay? I understand that we have Okendibe back. Professor Ndibe, welcome back to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much. I must apologize for this technical malfunction.
I mean, people in Nigeria, we had better connections with them. Maybe we should talk to the governor of Connecticut. Okay, all right. All right, let's go. So what you were talking about the speech, your general impression of the speech.
Yes, I was saying that Buhari's speech struck me as reassuring, struck me particularly as an attempt by him to allay the fears of those in the country who fear that he's going to become a vindictive president. And so he does two things at once. He says, I have more noble pursuits than a vindictive agenda. And then he lays out what he believes to be the challenges facing Nigeria at this time, and therefore the focus of his administration. And I think that altogether it's a terrific speech.
Mm. What particular line spoke to you? Most people have been pointing out the line that says, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
That was a particularly brilliant rhetorical move on the man's part. If you remember, throughout his career as a presidential candidate, which he was a presidential candidate, I believe, 4 times, every time that he's run, one of the attacks against him was that he was sectional and that he was a fundamentalist Muslim who could not be trusted in a pluralistic Nigeria. And so when he says that I am the president for everybody and I belong to no one, I think that it's a very important claim, and I think that it's a statement that Nigerians should remind him to live up to every day of his presidency. And it's a stroke of genius that he said that.
Mm. Now, there were other instances where he made references to what he plans to do, and that you just talked about it, that he's not going to go back and start probing people or witch-hunting people. Do you think that it's possible to move forward without resolving unresolved issues of the past?
I don't think so, and I think that, but I think that he leaves room, that he doesn't, if you read him carefully, nothing that he said today precludes the option, and what I in fact think must be the imperative of revisiting issues of corruption and abuse of office in the past. If Buhari fails to address those issues, I think that he's going to already betray one of the most important expectations of Nigerians, which is that he needs to bring people who have wrecked the country by their vicious greed to account. And so it's one of those moments where I had a pause. I've warned recently in my columns that there had to be a kind of inventive and ingenious approach to addressing corruption, the issues of corruption in the country. It can become a full-time job that will easily consume the 4 years of his presidency. So it's important that he's saying to Nigerians, I have a much broader agenda. But even so, he has to lay out a policy, an even-handed policy, a fair policy, but also a particularly a policy that shows a particular hostility to corruption, both in the past and then going forward.
Mm. Now, he sounded optimistic throughout the speech, but there were instances where he showed the frustration, like when he said, no single cause can be identified to explain Nigeria's poor economic performance over the years than the power situation. It is a national shame that an economy of 180 million people could only generate only 4,000 megawatts of power.
Yes.
So,
and distribute even less.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So what does that say? Is he expressing the outrage of Nigerians, especially at this point?
I think that, yes, I think that this is a speech that tries to articulate in a very careful, a very tactful manner, articulate the frustrations of Nigerians, and also speak broadly to the expectations of Nigerians. Nigerians are an incredibly talented and skilled people, and Nigerians deserve better than they've got from their leaders and, quite frankly, from themselves, because we're all implicated in this tragedy of a country that has been, that I call a country that was conceived in hope, that has been nurtured into hopelessness, mostly by our leaders. So I think that what Buhari said is particularly pertinent, that the power situation in Nigeria, the electric power situation in Nigeria, has been one of the most profound impediments to our takeoff, industrial takeoff, as well as to the massive growth of the Nigerian economy. The amount of money that companies spend on generation, on private generators for their businesses, and also that individuals spend, it's just absolutely enormous. And also, I think that if you look at the issue of corruption, that the part of the desperation with which people steal public resources is just to provide things like power for themselves. And so if a government, Buhari's government in this case, takes seriously the transformation of the electric power industry in Nigeria, and we begin to see a significant improvement in the provision of power in our country, I think that we're going to see a payoff in economic growth. We're going to see a payoff in jobs, and we're going to see a massive reduction in the propensity of people to steal resources.
Now, he spent over 3 paragraphs talking about Boko Haram, and one thing he said that I've not had a government official say before was an acknowledgement that the leader of the Boko Haram sect actually started and was not very significant until he was killed. He said extrajudiciously killed by the police. This is something that no government official in the past, as far as I know, will acknowledge that it triggered what we now know as the Boko Haram of today. Is that significant for why did he have to say that?
Well, I think it's a breath of fresh air, really. You know, in one of my recent columns, I proposed that Buhari should speak truthfully to Nigerians, and my dear friend Alo Dumese also made the same point in one of his columns. It's essential to governance because trust is inevitable if there's going to be any sense of a community. And the leader, the president of a country is the leader of a community of people, in this case, a community of Nigerians. It is absolutely well known that the leader of Boko Haram was extrajudicially executed by the police because he was arrested by the military, who handed him over to the police with his hands tied behind his back. An hour or so later, the police showed his remains and said he died in an exchange of gunfire. It wasn't even an intelligent lie. Okay, so that for the past governments to leave the impression that this man really was not killed by the Nigerian state, by the agents of the Nigerian state, was a particularly a childish lie. And so it's a breath of fresh air that Buhari has considered that this was a case of extrajudicial murder. And one hopes, therefore, that he recognizes and that under his governance, that there will be a respect for proper judicial procedures and processes, and that the police, and by the way, it's also well known amongst Nigerians that the Nigerian police carry out massive levels of extrajudicial execution of those in detention and those who've been convicted. So those are areas that the government must get into so that we begin to respect the sanctity of life in our country, and we begin to respect what we call the rule of law and due process.
All right, Professor Ndibe, we are really out of time, but I want to ask you one more question. He said that Nigeria has a window of opportunity to fulfill our long-standing potential of pulling ourselves together and realizing our mission as a great nation. And I want to ask you, do you think that the speech and the tone of this new administration is in the right path to that?
There's no question in my mind that this is a speech that fits the moment, that Buhari has actually given a speech that rises to the occasion. But of course, having given a speech, because talk is cheap, as Americans say, having given a marvelous speech, it is now he has a challenge, and all of us have the challenge of living up to the precepts that he's laid out today. And we hope that he rises to that occasion and that challenge, and that he insists that anybody who is going to work with him, and indeed those who are in government broadly in Nigeria, would also rise to those to that new day that he's announced today.
All right, Professor Ndibe, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my delight, Rudolph.
All right. When we come back, we have a special panel of experts who are going to come and help us understand all the events of today, so stay tuned. And remember, we're still going to give you the chance to give us your feedback on what we've been discussing today. Once again, thank you for watching and stay tuned.
Ẹni tí ò níbi rẹ̀ kó má ṣe dènà fún mi. ẹ̀dá tí ó fẹ́ kàn ṣe má jẹ́ ó bá tèmi jẹ́ o. My name is Lonnie Stevens. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
It's your boy Styles with Aziz, and you're not watching Sahara TV. Keep it locked on my featuring Davido. Bye.
You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa, and I am Dr. Chris, and you are
Ade. Keep watching.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's your boy Rhea Son. Awawa Otajo. Omugawolo Sokpe Alago. There is fire on the mountain, Elipajo. Ha, hey, Elipajo. I need a sweet girl to share will be plasma. Me from a tonic of faith, I be asthma. Me from a Toma Mayo Mileno be lasma. Yeah, it's your boy Rhea Son, Yankiniga. I see you when I see you. You're watching Sahara TV right now, Everything Africa. Keep it down.
Hey, what's up, what's up? It's your boy J-Mo, and I'm here with Sahara TV, Everything Africa. You already know.
Hi viewers, welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Adela Fayon, and today we have another opportunity to interview our new Vice President, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Professor, welcome to Sahara TV and congratulations on your election.
Thank you very much.
The last time that we met, you were still campaigning, but now you won the election. How do you feel? Because do you feel pressured? Because there's a lot of, the expectation is really high.
Well, first, thank you again for speaking to me. I think that it's pressure, maybe a bit of pressure, but I think a lot of what there's so much to do that there's hardly any time to even feel under any kind of pressure. There's so much to prepare for, there's so much to get ready for. So, and I'm excited about the process. Absolutely, I'm excited.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. But I wanted to start with something very recent. You recently said that you are inheriting a debt of like $60 billion, and it looks like the finance minister or the finance ministry is not agreeing with you. What do you have to say about that?
Well, typically, there's a lot of denial going on, but this is self-evident. I don't think there's any questioning the facts. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a matter of fact, the total is in excess of 60 billion. That's the truth, is in excess of 60 billion. As of 2014, end of 2014, it was 60 billion. I think there's an additional 2 or 3 billion, That's the honest truth. I mean, there's no question about that. And I don't really think, sometimes people might want to split hairs on how the debt was acquired, and what happened and all of that. But the truth of the matter is that we're inheriting well over $60 billion in debt. That's what the Buhari administration will be inheriting, well over $60 billion in debt. That's the truth.
So what does that mean, though, and what's the solution?
It means that the government has to, the Buhari government has to do a lot more. So, I mean, what we're simply saying is that here we are. These are things that we need to do, not just because they are promises, campaign promises, but more importantly because these are absolutely essential for the people of Nigeria.
The last few days have been really, really hard on a lot of Nigerians with this fuel scarcity, and everybody has just been wondering, is your administration removing subsidy or keeping subsidy?
That is a decision that the administration has to make. Of course, you know that the president would very shortly address many of these issues, especially not just the question of subsidy, but the whole question of what to do with the oil and gas industry. Especially the downstream issues, which are the major concerns of the common man and all that. What I'm saying is that the administration will be responding to the whole downstream sector. Okay. How that response will be, what it will be, you will just have to wait and see.
A lot of people are also wondering about like the Niger Delta Militant Oodua People's Congress. This present administration had been paying them. They have amnesty program going on. Is that something that would continue in this new administration, or?
Well, one thing that is certain is that the Buhari administration, and we've said this repeatedly, even during the course of the campaigns, that we're very concerned about issues, the minority issues, and all of those things. And clearly, the Niger Delta issues are going to be very prominent in the consideration of the administration. We think that the important programs that have been started, we must look at those programs. We must ensure that we are able to address the real concerns of the Niger Delta people. We have, and their concerns are so important to the administration. As a matter of fact, all issues concerning minorities, ethnicities, and all that, you know that General Buhari has in fact pledged to take a good look at them and to see what it is that we can do better than has ever been done in the past regarding not just the Niger Delta, but all other ethnic tensions and ethnic issues that there are.
And speaking of programs started, we are also wondering if there are some of the policies or programs started by President Jonathan that your administration would like to continue.
Well, that would be on a case-by-case basis, as you can possibly imagine. As you know, I mean, government is a continuum. There are many things that's going on that will, of course, will continue. I can't see, but you can only deal with these things on a case-by-case basis. It's very difficult to say, you know, whether you are going to adopt those policies or you're not going to adopt those policies and all that. But on a case-by-case basis, we have to review policies as we go along and, you know.
What about your campaign slogan, which is change? So what are some of the changes that we should expect in your administration?
Well, one thing that's very important is that this will be a transparent and open government. This is a government that will not tolerate corruption. These for us are major issues. This is a government that's going to take security seriously. This is a government that is going to address the economy. You know, we're going to take a very, very serious and firm view of issues concerning the economy. And as you know, General Buhari himself has said that 3 major concerns: security, corruption, and the economy. So you will see definitely a disciplined government, a government that will be serious about transparency, serious about issues of discipline. Also, you know, look carefully at the questions of the huge cost of governance and all of that.
I see. When you said corruption, does that include people that have committed offenses before your administration?
Well, as you know, everything, you know, the government has, General Buhari also has said that we do not intend to be mounting huge probes and all of those kinds of things, but we certainly will be looking at whatever it is. I mean, he said, for instance, that there's going to be, he was going to investigate the whole question of whether money was remitted, the 20 billion.
Yeah. So he's going to address that,
oh, yeah,
the missing $20 billion.
Certainly.
People have been wondering why Mr. President left the country just a few days to inauguration.
Just to rest. He said, look, and this is the truth. He said, look, I need to take some time off before 29th. He tried to get some peace and he tried to get a few days off in Kaduna and all of that and around because everybody rushed after him there. So basically he just wanted to take some time off to, you know, rest, gather his thoughts, and be back to hit the ground running.
I see. So do you have any position on the leadership of the National Assembly?
No, I don't have any position at all on the leadership.
No candidates?
No, I certainly don't have candidates. I don't have any candidates.
Okay, so we talked about the 60 billion debt that you said you're inheriting earlier, and I just want to read some of what people are saying on Twitter and to get your response. So this one that I would read is from Dr. Njakiri Damages. I don't know if you've heard about him. He's very active on Twitter. Okay, Dr. Damages, you have no idea who he is.
No,
that's wonderful. So he quoted you that we will inherit the worst economy in Nigeria's history. Yes. And then he said, well, so did Obama in the US, and you have got 1,460 days to turn it around, or else.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we take on the challenge. You know, that's the point. That's why we were voted for. We take on the challenge. But it's important for people to know what it is. Obama, in 2008, 2009, made it clear that, in fact, that was the worst depression. That was the worst recession since the Great Depression. And that's a fact. That's true. And we're at a point now where even states cannot pay salaries. Some states are owing as much as 4 months' salary. That's the worst situation we've ever been in certainly in recent history of this country, where almost 2/3 of the states
Some
cannot
states have
pay
much more than that, even 6, 8 months.
Oh yeah,
so.
even 11 months. I know a state that owes 11 months. And that is unprecedented. I'm sure that none of us.
So you're saying you're willing to take up the challenge?
Oh yeah, indeed. As a matter of fact, that's what we were voted for.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because the next tweet is by Sheung Anukula Pokuti, and he said, the fact that you announced that you are inheriting this debt, he said, waiting this Oga or somebody they try to tell us now. So you know if you do the job, he's wondering why you did that.
No. I think it's not an announcement. It's a statement of a fact. And it's very important that we bear in mind what we're dealing with. So for example,
like letting us know the facts.
As I say, know the facts. You've got to deal with the facts, because if you don't have the facts, how do you even, even in understanding what's going on, I think it's very important. And we've said we're going to be an open government. We're going to let people know the facts. We're going to lay the facts bare. People will not be in any doubts about what's going on. We're going to be as open as we can. So, this is just telling the truth, letting people know what the facts are. And as a matter of fact, anywhere else in the world, this is information that must be available in the public space.
Yeah.
This is information that must be available. Okay, if the government says it's not a 60 billion debt, but okay, so what is it? Give a figure. Tell us how much.
It's good for us to
And
know.
how much within 2010 and now is how much of that debt was added on by the federal government between 2010 and now? How much? These are facts in the public space.
Letting us know.
Yeah.
And this next tweet is not related to that 60 billion, but this is from Mujida, and he says that I heard from a reliable source that Professor Osinbajo is even more prudent than General Buhari. If this is true, we'll go laugh tire for the next 4 years.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I know that General Buhari has been prudent for the number of years he's lived. So he's been prudent for longer than me. So even if I'm prudent, I haven't been prudent for 70 years yet. So I think that he's probably more prudent than me. And anyway, let me say that, because I'm an Ijebu man, people might believe that means that I'm going to be very frugal yeah. I think they have a right to expect some frugality, yes, because I really do believe that we should be frugal, And anyway, there must be delayed gratification. I think we must all sort of accept that we need to delay gratification and that we can't immediately begin to reap everything and, spend everything. I think we should be.
You can't have your cake and eat it at
You
the same
can't.
time.
We should be restrained.
And this last tweet that I will read says that religion and politics is sinful and it's not the work of God. So
Religion
a lot of people
and
say
politics.
That. Yeah.
Well, I think
because you are also a man of
absolutely,
God, so there are people out there.
No, but I think that people make a mistake. God has always been involved in the politics of nations. Always. There's no time that God was not involved in the politics of a nation. God has always sought good leaders. That's why the scripture says that when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. God has always been interested in good leaders. And if you look at it, everything that God has done, he's always tried to appoint good leaders. In fact, when the children of Israel, if you remember in the Bible, when they wanted a king, God told them that, look, this is how this king will behave. They nevertheless said, we want the king. We want this one. We don't want your choice. God even said, you are rejecting my choice. I don't know, we don't, this is the one we want.
So
God has always been interested in leadership. Always been
politics.
interested, of course.
Okay.
God has always been interested in leadership.
Okay, so I'm just you have the right to choose one of these two things, one of either. So on a good night with Madame, would you rather stroll on the beach or have a movie night together?
I think we'll probably beach, probably. Yeah. I know lots of times we watch TV together anyway, so there's nothing extraordinary about that, but I think the beach would be, yeah.
So cake or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Ice cream?
Yeah, ice cream. Definitely ice cream.
On a normal day, do you prefer suit or native?
Of late, I've been wearing native, but of late, and I find that it's very comfortable. In the past few years, I always was in a suit. you know. Yes, until politics and all of that. But I find that I'm extremely comfortable wearing, especially the, you know, the kaftan and trousers. That's very, very, very comfortable.
So akara or moi moi?
Moi moi, definitely moi moi.
Okay. What is your hobby? Like, what do you do for fun? Do you have fun at all?
Well, I just read. I mean, the thing that I enjoy the most is reading. So that's really what I do, reading or fooling around with the children, you know. Yeah, getting into some debate about something or the other with the children. My children, all sorts. They have all sorts of issues that they, you know, should parents interfere in this? Should they comment about that? Should they, what people wear? You know, should you wear this kind of dress? Should you not? You know, I like all those arguments. You know, I like all those arguments. It's fun. You know, I like to, if you like, instigate them to. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for granting us this interview.
Thank you
really,
very
really
much.
Appreciate
Thanks, Yola. Thank you.
Is there anything I didn't ask that you'd like to tell Nigerians?
No, nothing at all. Only to say thank you very much to Nigerians for voting for us, and that they should keep praying for us. I think that, you know, all the prayers we can get, and this country is definitely going to change. By the grace of God, we're going to change, and all of us should come together to make this change happen.
So, viewers, that has been our new Vice President, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Thank you for joining us.
This is Adam Clayton Powell IV, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, I'm Aminika Junju, President and CEO of the Africa America Institute. You are watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
What's up, y'all? I'm TJ Allen, and I played the role as Trayvon Martin. We here at the National Black Theater. What's up? Shouts out to Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Yo, what's up? My name is Brady K. Basketball. You're watching Sahara TV. Keep it up, down. Everything is Africa right here.
Sahara TV. Yo, I'm going to respect to all the now. I'm going to
Hello, this is Dikembe Mutombo. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything in Africa.
Hey, my name is Benga Denga, the first. They call me the GCON, Grand Comedian of Nigeria. All you people watching out there, keep watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Jeffrey Wright, coming to you from New York City, just across the river from the Republic of Brooklyn. And you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
People there, and I thank you for listening to Sahara TV. So I believe say all man get for listening and in a good watch them. 5-5 and me I know they say but in a good watch.
You're welcome back to Sahara TV, and we're still here discussing and analyzing this most historic event that just happened a couple of hours ago. Nigeria, the African giant, gets a new government representing hope for millions and millions and millions of their citizens. In the studio today with me at this point to do the discussion is Mr. Alex Kaba. Mr. Kaba is Alex Okiemute Kaba, who is the publisher and editor-in-chief of African Abroad USA, and also Mr. Cyril Obi, who is the program director for the Social Science Research Council, SSRC USA. You're welcome to the studio, gentlemen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kwesi.
Okay, so let me start by asking briefly, both of you, how you feel about today. It's such a historic day. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel very happy because this morning I woke up early around 3 a.m. U.S. time to watch the inauguration. It was so heartwarming, and to see that democracy has been able to come to Nigeria, indeed, not just intra-party power transfer. Now there is transfer between parties. Now an opposition party has won the election. And going by what we have been talking about, Nigeria is now in for a new era where the era of impunity will be over, the era when the common people will be taken care of, where you could see the President Muhammadu Buhari, the way he was saying, he was talking of what he's going to do to the youth unemployment in the country, corruption, and how to empower the local businesses in the country, not just for only the rich. So we're very happy about that.
Awesome. Mr. Obi?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think today is very significant in the annals of Nigeria and indeed Africa's history.
Yep.
For the first time, we have a smooth change in government democratically from one party to another party. It's a first, so it's historical. I think secondly, Nigeria has been able to stand tall to reclaim a place of prominence as an African leader, or a pivotal state as it were, because we have set an example that indeed losing gracefully and winning with sheer tenacity, using the ballot box is actually the way to go. I think that personally the head of state today is somebody who has tried 4 times through the ballot box. He never wavered. He went to court, he lost, and then he finally got the mandate on the 4th attempt. Sometimes people say 3rd time lucky, but this time is 4th time lucky. Thirdly, for Nigeria as a country, I think it's a new beginning. There is a lot of expectation, some of it too high indeed, but at least Nigerians together have spoken with one voice. And we as a people, looking around the continent, we can actually see we have set a standard. And other countries would think twice if they want to manipulate constitutions, because there is this African country that everybody was worried about, but that country has proved the pundits wrong by making sure that it got it right. So it's very significant. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity. Let's hope and pray that everything goes smoothly.
I think Burundi needs to learn a few lessons from Nigeria at this point, and a few other African countries that I can think about. But talking about patting ourselves on the shoulder and all of that, we're all proud that everything has gone so smoothly. The president, in his speech, thanked President Jonathan for the smooth process and all of that. Hitherto, there have been, congratulatory messages for President Jonathan for being so statesmanlike and all of that. Are you one of those who give him credit for handing over smoothly, or you belong to the school of thought that it's like he had to do it, he has no choice?
Well,
let me start with you, Mr.
For my own part, I would think we're magnanimous and say that the ex-president, Goodluck Jonathan, it was statesmanlike by conceding defeat and sparing us the agony of riot and civil strife and anarchy that could have resulted if they had tried to rig the election, because it was so apparent that he has lost. But we are grateful to that he considered defeat and took the interest of the nation first, above his own. For that reason, I give him kudos.
And you?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that we should not underestimate the fact that former President Goodluck Jonathan bowed out with grace. What he did was a mark of statesmanship. You may have your differences about the way he conducted the business of governance. Politics is a very complex game, and the thing we see may not actually be what is actually happening behind the scenes. But the reality is that that was an act of magnanimity and grace, and it should be commended. So I identify myself with those people who think that this is a very important step in the life of Nigeria. It set a new standard, as I will say, and I hope that other politicians at other levels within the country will borrow a leaf from this example.
Totally, and we're all proud that Nigerians indeed have gone through such a tense period without all the, negativity that the international press was waiting to report. We're all proud. We say kudos to ourselves. Let's look at the speech, the president's speech. There are so many things that he said. Let's start with this statement that has already become cliche. I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. How important is this statement? How does it bring Nigerians together, or how does it affect Nigerians?
Well, if I have to comment on that statement, it means that the president belongs to the Nigerian people. If I might refer to the president, Goodluck Jonathan, he made many billionaires of Nigerians. But did he make the life of Nigerians better before he left it? No. So it belonged to some people. The very rich, the novel rich. So the president, Muhammadu Buhari, does not want to be like that. He wants to belong to the Nigerian people. So they own him now. He said he belongs to Nigerians now, not some select few. So that's why I think that's the context under which he's saying that that it belongs to everybody and doesn't belong to anybody. That means it doesn't belong to a select interest group that will be enriching themselves at the expense of the country.
I was thinking more along the lines of ethnicity when he made that statement. I got the feeling that he was saying, okay, I may be from the North, but I'm not a president for the North. I'm the president for the whole federation. Do you think so, Cyril?
Well, I'll say I'd like to approach this from two perspectives. The first perspective is a philosophical perspective, that this is a man whose journey to the presidency has been long and arduous. Yep. First as a military dictator, and then as a born-again Democrat. I would say that, so from a philosophical perspective, he was reflecting on that journey in that statement, I belong to everybody. The other thing is that there is also the temptation for people to claim owning him in the light of our recent history, or histories, if you like. And my sense is that it's an expression that he's going to seek his legitimacy from all Nigerian citizens. I will not be captive to any particular section of the country. And I think that statement is very significant because whoever is going to move Nigeria forward must be seen as a father of all, must be seen as being objective, straightforward, and representing the interests of everybody, and not seen to be favoring any particular class or any particular ethnic group or any particular region. I think that was a signal also to certain political allies and foes.
I was actually going to ask you that.
This is who I am. I am going to be bold, I am going to be brave, I am going to step on toes, and I'm going to do everything possible to show that I really belong to everybody. It's a clarion call.
I did read that into it as well. I had the feeling that he was telling people who probably would be feeling too comfortable because they belong in his camp that, listen, don't get too comfortable. I'm not going to be biased towards you. I am going to be fair to everybody. Mr. Kaba, let me ask you again. He also mentioned the contribution of some countries in the sub-region that have, for instance, helped to contain Boko Haram. And, you know, promised that Nigeria is going to take the role that have always been conferred on it as a giant in the region. How much has Nigeria sunk? How low, you know, in quote, has Nigeria sunk for him to have the occasion to say that we are going to resume our role as the giants in the region?
Yeah, we really sunk very low, especially in the area of the insurgency in the northeast of the country. We could not even fight for Nigerian sovereignty anymore. We now needed Cameroon, Chad, and Niger to help Nigeria, the proud Nigerian military that fought in all these wars, that liberated Liberia and Sierra Leone from dictators, for them now not to be able to contain a ragtag group like Boko Haram, and for them to allow the problem to fester like that. I think that's why the new president now has said the first thing is that the military high command is going to be looking to Maiduguri, because it's a very serious problem. This Boko Haram problem, it has to be nipped in the bud. You know, they've been telling the ex-president that they should relocate the military high command to where the problem lies, not leaving them in Abuja. Now they have said that that's the first thing they're going to do. The military high command will go to Abuja. So that's to tell you that Nigeria is now coming again. It's coming out again now to say that we are claiming all our territories.
Some people, I'm sorry to barge in, but some people think it's just semantic, like moving the head of the command to Maiduguri. What impact is it going to have on the struggle against Boko Haram?
The impact on the military high brass will show that this is the main focus.
On the ground.
They are there on the ground. They are also now on the forefront of that war against Boko Haram, not in the comfort of Abuja. So it tells you that this president has hit the ground running, because when Boko Haram sees that these people are now, they've taken a different approach to this war against Boko Haram, they will even retreat. They will run away out of the country. So we are very proud of the first pronouncement of moving the military command back to Maiduguri until this insurgency is defeated. So that is a very good way of starting for a country that has been reduced to a very, very poor rating in the world because of our inability to defeat Boko Haram.
Talking of that, Nigeria also seems to have a certain perceived image of, fraud and all of that.
Corruption, yes.
Corruption, even fraud. And the president mentioned it. He says he's going to, join the international community to fight financial crime, cyber crime, and all of that. He's obviously trying to redeem the image of Nigeria back.
Yes.
Apart from the basic things that we hear about him going to drive, in a normal car, car and all of that. What would you say, I want you to answer this for me, what would you say else that he needs to do to redeem Nigeria's image as a proud force in world politics?
I think I want to weigh in on the first question that you raised, and then I'll come back to the second. Yeah. I think that in terms of Nigeria's foreign policy, it has consistently seen its immediate neighborhood as an area of strategic significance, both for security and in terms of leadership. And one of the things that happened was that aspect of our foreign policy was adversely affected by the crisis in the Northeast. Two things are very important. I think there's also a critical need to understand what the challenge is. I believe that the new head of state will be properly briefed by the relevant security agencies and actors on the ground and by our neighboring countries. I think the cooperation that is needed to address that security challenge depends on how well we can relate to our neighbors. And I think this is a lesson. It's not just about Nigeria's prominence, but Nigeria's relationship with other West African countries. Do not forget that Nigeria is really the anchor of West African integration. And in terms of economic integration, we have actually done well. When you go to neighboring countries, Sierra Leone, Ghana, as far as Senegal, you have Nigerian banks, you have Nigerian companies. Nigerian businessmen are doing very good, clean business in West Africa. On the political front, there are problems. But I think that what it requires is actually leadership. And what I hear from that speech is a sense of awareness on the part of the leadership as to exactly what the challenge is and what is to be done to tackle it. I think that statement is really point on, but I would pause and wait for the kind of team that the president is able to put together. The statement reflects good intentions, but he needs very good people, very competent and committed people who would help him realize that dream. And I think this is where the challenge is.
Okay, totally. And then there's this point which has also become a point of contention for most Nigerians. The president, in his speech says, and I'm quoting, he says, "Furthermore, we as Nigerians must remind ourselves that we are heirs to great civilizations. Shehu Othman Dan Fodio's Caliphate, the Kanem Borno Empire, the Oyo Empire, the Benin Empire, and King Jaja's formidable domain." Some of my Igbo friends are not too happy that the Igbos were not mentioned in this equation. Do you read anything into that?
Well, I don't read anything to it because there was no Igbo empire that I know of. I've never heard of any Igbo empire, even though I know they exist in Nigeria as a very good part of Nigeria. But these are the historical empires that were being cited by the president, and it's not going to invent one to please anybody. So I don't think I can read anything to that one.
What's your take on that, Cyril?
Well, I think that in every speech situation, you cannot say everything. you probably will see certain things. I think there are two great civilizations that, it wasn't just the Igbo civilization that was probably not mentioned. One of the greatest civilizations we have as a people is the Nok culture, which occurred somewhere around central Nigeria. The other very great civilization is the Ugbo-Ukwu culture, somewhere in northern part of Igbo land. But in terms of empires, you are correct that in terms of empires, which I would say is a forerunner to state building. And really what we're talking about here is state building, a building of the Nigerian nation state, how you're able to weld the numerous diversities.
He didn't mention empires, though. He said civilizations.
Yeah, but
so in that context, wouldn't you mention Igbo?
Empires as political expressions of civilizations.
But in this context, though, Igbo, like Alex said, did not have an empire.
Yes.
Yet they had a civilization.
They did have a civilization, but it was not, as I would say, it was not in the form of an empire. The Igbos were an encephalous people. They were stateless, really speaking. And so the use of the empire will not actually fit into that paradigm. What will fit into it is, if we are talking about civilizations as civilizations, there is evidence of that civilization. But in terms of empires, and empires, as I said, as forerunners to states, because what really Nigeria is dealing with really is a crisis of state building. And by referring to the fact that at some particular level in the evolution of the states that inhabited our part of the world, we did have evidence of sophisticated political engineering. And those were the things that he referred to, and that's correct. So the question is, beyond the speech, what then can we do? Are there any lessons from those empires, from those earlier forms of state formation that can inform and help us resolve some of the challenges that we face as a nation state today? I think that is where we should divert our attention. We should not pick unnecessary issues with things that are not really that important at this point in time. Nigeria has a major challenge in front of it, both within West Africa, in Africa, and in the world. And those challenges mean that everybody has to come together to support any project that is geared towards lifting that country up, because the lifting of Nigeria is important to the lifting of the African continent.
Totally. And we also know that there are certain flashpoints in Nigeria still. Apart from Boko Haram, there's still something going on in the Niger Delta and all of that. Do you see President Buhari bringing all these things to a closure? Does he have what it takes to really deal with these things, whether diplomatically, militarily, or however he would, want to resolve these things?
Yeah, you just heard what he just told the nation and the world, that it belongs to the whole, everybody, every Nigerian. It doesn't belong to a particular group. It's a Nigerian. It's going to rule like a Nigerian. It's going to rule for the interest of Nigeria. So when it comes to the Niger Delta, I don't think the approach is going to be different from what the approach he has chosen for the Boko Haram. So there's the amnesty program that is still in place, and the derivation is there. And I'm talking of the Niger Delta, where I'm from, actually. And I don't think it's going to just go and create problems where there's none. I don't think he's that kind of leader. You can see the presidential gate of President Buhari today, when we were watching him on the television. This presidential gate gives you confidence, and you realize this person has a mission, not somebody that doesn't have a vision. You can see he has laid out a vision in that short speech that he gave for the development of Nigeria, for a new dawn of Nigeria. So we're very happy. Nigeria, the change is coming to Nigeria. So as for getting good people who have good heart for Nigerians, who don't have heart just to go and enrich themselves only, who feel bad that a country that is so rich is people with so many people who are poor. I don't know why. Will you not be able to transform the strength, so many natural resources that Nigeria has, that you cannot use it to enrich the Nigerians? Why will you not use it to enrich some select few, and then you create social problems? Now, when they move around in Nigeria, they move a battalion. I told the TV station in Nigeria, in Lagos, that before the election, I said, if Buhari is elected, 50% of Nigerian population will disappear, because it is the head that you look to from the tail. When they see that the head is a no-nonsense anti-corruption man, everybody around him, everybody in the whole country would take example from there. So since Buhari has been sworn in, I can tell you 50% of corruption in Nigeria has disappeared. Because people are now looking to him that it's no longer business as usual under our ex-president. So that is how you know that it's when the leader doesn't know what to do. That's when the followers will just be doing whatever they like.
Do you think, though, that this stature that he's assumed is going to appease, say, people who are secessionists by nature? There are people who are advocating for, oh, let's have a Biafra, let's carve up Nigeria. Do you think that, this stature that is assumed and that statement that he made about being for everybody is going to tell them that, oh, at last we have somebody who can unify us, so there's no point to secede, for instance?
I don't think that if there's anybody thinking about secession today in Nigeria, they must have their head think. They must be mentally ill to think that somebody will be thinking of secession in this age of 2015, Nigeria, from what we have gone through, from all this integration of Nigerians, intermarriages, and all this, what is called, the experience of the Civil War up to today. If anybody is thinking that secession is still possible in Nigeria today, they don't know what they are talking about. You understand me? President Buhari did not get to be elected by being an Hausa man. He got elected by being a Nigerian. That's why people like us are so passionate about him. Because we see in him that President Buhari is better 100 times than ex-President Jonathan. That's why we said this is the man that will lead Nigeria forward. Not just going there and being afraid and trying to follow only tribal sentiment and ethnic sentiment. So the Yoruba said the eyes knows the kind of food that is enough for the body. So I don't have to be a Hausa man to know that this man is the one who can take us to the next level of Nigeria.
Totally. All right. So, Cyril, let me ask you to, let's go back to Boko Haram for a second. He mentioned that he acknowledged the extrajudicial killing of the former Boko Haram leader, which he kind of attributed to the, the explosion of the problem. Is he leaning towards maybe amnesty for Boko Haram, for instance?
It's too early to say. I don't think he's leaning towards amnesty, but it's too early to say. I think what he's trying to do is to provide the context within which he's going to unroll his approach. And my sense is that he's going to try to do two things, the carrot and the stick. And hopefully, in order to get Boko Haram to even negotiate, they have to be militarily subdued. So I think this is the approach that we will likely see. So it's not a question of demonizing the group completely, but it's also not a question of letting them off the hook. In terms of the Niger Delta issue, I do recall that he did say that there was going to be a kind of revisiting or a critical look at what the amnesty was all about. But I think that he recognizes the importance of that issue and the whole question of the age-old grievances in that part of the country. He's going to review it, and he's going to make sure that it's the people who actually need the kind of, I would say it's people who need the kind of compensation and redress that actually get it, and not just people who posture. So I think he wants to go beyond what the original amnesty has done. And I think this is a right step in the right direction. The other issue that we need to look at is this perennial conflict between herdsmen or pastoralists and farmers across various communities in the country. It's really rising. And I hope that the president will have time to look into this. The other issue is the religious crisis in central Nigeria. It's kind of gone down a bit, but I think that the roots of those kind of communal conflicts. So beyond Boko Haram and Niger Delta, there are serious communal conflicts taking place in Nigeria. The other dimension to the Niger Delta conflict, which most people don't really pay attention to is the conflicts over land, communal conflicts. At one level, it's about oil, but the other level, it's about land. And while the attention is on oil, not enough attention is being placed on land. There's a lot of communal conflicts in the Niger Delta that is not about oil. Primarily, it's about land, particularly land that people think has oil. And it's really tearing communities apart. If we are going to build a new Nigeria, I think that the rebuilding of that country must start from the grassroots, from the communities, and eventually it will move upwards. So that, because we need a strong foundation for the new country that we hope would arise from today.
Totally. He also mentioned researching the foundations of Boko Haram, their sponsors and all of that. How arduous a task is this? We saw a lot of finger pointing, a lot of which we came to realize was not really the issue. People accusing each other of being sponsors of Boko Haram, etc. He has said that he's going to research the sponsors and everything that came together to make Boko Haram a potent force, not just going out there sending soldiers with guns to go and fight them, but actually nipping the problem in the bud by researching the very foundations of it, cutting their source of funding and all of that. How easy is this going to be?
It's going to be easy because now we have a new president. You see, the American government were not cooperating with the government of Goodluck Jonathan because they felt that they were not sincere in the fight against Boko Haram, and Boko Haram was getting intelligence reports of whatever the American government was giving to the Nigerian army. So they asked for all these weapons, they didn't give to them. But now that we have a new president, intelligence sharing between the U.S. and Nigeria government is going to resume. And even all those Cobra helicopters that they were looking for before, we can get them now, because they now see that this is a new president that is starting on a new slate, and is really serious about fighting terrorism in any form and any guise. And by saying the military high command should move to Maiduguri, he has sent a subtle message to the Western world that we're going to need all your help, both intelligence gathering. When you get intelligence, you can know those who are sponsoring those people. Like, for instance, the recent terrorist that was killed in Nigeria, they found euros on his body, on his dead body. Where is he getting all this money from? So that's why we don't know. People, they use telephone. You can gather intelligence and make sure that you are not only reacting. You have to be proactive, so that it is not only when Boko Haram attack that you have to defend. You have to go right there and be proactive and eliminate the sect. So I believe that with the new president that we have today, the Western world will be more helpful in helping Nigeria to nip it in the bud. So because they refuse to share intelligence with what is it called, with the former government of Jonathan.
Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'll weigh in on this.
Yeah.
The first challenge for me is really that when the president says research, it means two things. One is that he wants evidence. He wants to take decisions on the basis of evidence that is systematically collected. It's also a statement that touches on the quality of higher education, the infrastructure for research in Africa, in Nigeria. And more fundamentally, he's throwing a challenge to Nigerian scholars and practitioners that this is something that you are going to help me out with. Yes, it's important to have intelligence, but it's also important to have evidence-based policy and action. And this is a very, very good way of approaching the Boko Haram phenomenon, because it also accepts that there's not enough that we know about this phenomenon and how it was able to become such a big problem. And the fact that somebody wants to, as a matter of policy, go to the root and find out what exactly it is, means that when the solutions come, there will be solutions that will be enduring. And it's a good step in the right direction.
Totally. And then one thing that I'm sure brought a lot of smiles on Nigerians' faces, actually, brought up cheers when he mentioned that, is the issue of tackling the power crisis, energy crisis in Nigeria. That is a huge, huge, huge aspect of, the Nigerian existence. Without electricity, in my native Ghana, there's a word that has been coined, which I'm sure you have heard one time or the other, doomsaw. The president has actually been nicknamed doomsaw after the power crisis. But I hear that Nigeria has probably a worse situation with the power crisis. But he has also mentioned that he intends to nip that in the bud as well. This is going to boost business, it's going to boost social life, it's going to boost so many different aspects of the Nigerian existence. Just a few minutes each. What's your take on this?
Yeah, my take on this is that we have always thought that corruption was the one crippling the whole industry in Nigeria, the whole sector of the economy. Just as the president said, he said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria.
Yep.
So you are not going to make any headway on power generation if you allow corruption to still continue to percolate in the system. You understand me? This will always going to be back to point A. So I think that by the tackle of corruption, the power situation is going to improve. Instead of people just using it to make money and frustrating government from every angle because they want to sell generator, this president, hey, this is a new sheriff in town. All you corrupt elements, you better run up the hill because they're going to get you.
You're saying the power crisis is basically a product of corruption?
Yes. They spent billions on trying to generate power. But Nigeria today is still folded in darkness. Nigeria has been suffering the worst fuel scarcity you can ever think about for the past 2 weeks. They could not even run their vehicle or run anything. Even the diesel could not be used.
That's absurd considering that Nigeria is such a large producer of oil. That's absurd.
Yeah, so that's why the new sheriff in town is going to clean up the Augean table.
So, quickly.
Mine is to identify with what my colleague has said and to add two more things. The first thing is that when we think of energy, you should think of not just electricity, but oil and gas.
Yep.
The second thing is that ultimately, the problem is a problem of politics. The challenge really is, will the new president and his team be able to transform the nature of politics and how people see politics? Politics for service, not politics for self-aggrandizement. I think that's all I have to add. Thank you.
Awesome. Finally, very finally, just about maybe a minute each or 30 seconds each if you can fit in. What advice would you give President Buhari in a line or two?
President Buhari, you have started on a very, very strong note. You have sent messages through your first speech that it's not going to be business as usual anymore. So all those you who are permanent secretaries or office holder who are going there to go and steal money, this is not the time. This is a new dawn for Nigeria where we can start behaving as if we are really a country where things can work. So I believe the president that we have elected and we have sworn in today, I have 100% trust that is going to get it started and we are going to start seeing results.
Awesome. Sarah?
I would say simply that when people think Nigeria is a rich country in terms of natural resources, they should begin to imagine that Nigeria is even richer in terms of human resources.
Totally.
And that the president's strength is the Nigerian people. He should carry them along and he will not fail.
Words of wisdom from my two erudite guests. Cyril Obi is the program director for Social Science Research Council, SSRC USA, and Alex Okiemutekaba is the publisher and editor-in-chief for African Abroad USA. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sahara TV, stay tuned. There's more after this.
You make me see what's pure and true. Yes, you are extraordinary woman. You are the one who brings me joy, to cast out every lingering doubt that you are extraordinary woman.
Yes, I.
And this is Lucky Dahon is saying,
Yes, I am.
stay tuned on Sahara TV.
Yes, I
Don't
am.
go away.
Yes, indeed, it's Isaac. Pow, that's how we do it. Red Star, representing. You're watching Sahara TV, don't go anywhere. Africa. You shit? Let's go.
I am like you more and I like you when I invite you to my party. Because I like you and energize you and advertise you to my party. I'm a champagne papa and I wanna know you. Hey, what up? This is your boy YQ and you're watching Sahara TV. It's all about Africa. It's all about the continent. And it's all about one people. And this is Africa.
What up, my people? What's going on? It's your favorite boy, Whiskey, Reverend and Music. Guess what? You're watching Sahara TV Africa. Keep watching because we just say so. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? It's IYANYA. Check it with my crew. That's it. Emanara. You're watching Sahara TV. Everything like Africa. Proud. Alright?
This is Bim Fernandez, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Where you are, in Africa, Europe, America, I remain the success, don't mind my voice. Finance, don't mind my voice. Most handsome, don't mind my voice. I'm a man number one. Fine boy. Alright, be a good boy, be a good girl, be a good woman, be a good woman. Love your wife. No fighting in Africa, one nation, one world, one love. Keep watching. Sahara Reporter, I remain the success. Fine boy.
What's your name?
My name is Mrs. Omishode Aderoke Clementine.
Ms. Omishode, why did you make the trip to be here today?
Wow, I just have to be here because I'm a member of A+, that is 18+ member. So, and it's a joy, we've seen the joy today, we have worked for it, and we can see it manifesting. So I just have to be here.
So what do you expect in terms of development as far as Lagos is concerned in the next 4 years?
Wow. Continuity, we said in Lagos State, that is what we want. We want the roads, the good roads, good water, electricity, you know, and then job for people. That's it. And the man is going to do it for us. He has assured us. We have confidence in him. We trust him. He's going to do it. God help us.
Thank you very much. Say that again, too.
My name is Wale Edu.
Oh, it's a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Wale. Why did you make this trip to be here today?
I would say I'm 2-in-1 to the governor-elect. He's my cousin. At the same time, I'm one of the general coordinators that work for A+ under him for the success of the election. So I'm very happy and I'm very proud that at the end of the day, we won the election for Ambode. So the glory goes to Lagosians, and given his antecedent, and as an administrator, as an accountant, as a permanent secretary and accountant general in Lagos State, I'm very happy and I'm very sure he's going to do more on what Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Asiwaju Tinubu has started, and continue by BRF, that's Abaturagi Fashola. So we are very, very sure, I'm very happy that we won the election today, this year, that I'm alive with other my members. These are my members there. So everybody is happy. I'm very happy.
All right, what do you expect in the next 4 years as far as Lagos governance is concerned?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, the vision and the mission is already there. What we want is continuity of what has been going on, especially the status of mega city of Lagos. We want it more. We want more of that. We want, better roads. We want better infrastructure for the people. We want inner roads. All the local government in Lagos State to be repaired so that, it will help economic activities in Lagos State. So those are the kind of thing we expect. And during the campaign,
Welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rodolfo Okonkwo. This is our continuing coverage, special coverage of the inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari. I hope you've been enjoying our show. We're now going to go back to Abuja to speak to a foreign correspondent, the AP reporter. She covered the inauguration for Associated Press, Ms. Chika Odua. Chika Odua, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure as usual.
All right. So you were there at the event. What's your take? How did it go?
Excellent. I think that this was a world-class production. Everything was very efficient, very organized. It was wonderful seeing all the dignitaries and wonderful seeing what Nigeria can do when we actually put our mind to doing something very well.
What's outstanding about today's event? Is it the people that came, how they conducted themselves? Be specific.
I think what's outstanding is that a lot of people saw a change. They thought that the fact that it started at a decent time was an element of change. There was such a camaraderie in the air. Everyone was like talking amongst themselves as far as there were no differences, regional, ethnic, religious. Everyone just kind of blended in together as one Nigeria. And it was very, very palpable in the air to feel that mood.
Now, the event was well received across the country. People felt that someone said we got our country back. Did you see people from the outgoing administration, apart from the president? Did we see other public officials at the event, or they were not there?
I was looking really hard to find some. I saw a few guys in Abuja, of course. FCT Minister Bala Mohammed was walking up and down like some type of king. Like he was just parading the grounds and people were telling him to sit down, what are you doing? So that was kind of funny. And then I saw Michael Mary, just some officials like that, appointed officials, no elected officials. I didn't see any, but I was certainly looking for some.
Now, I know you've been covering the Boko Haram issue for a long time. The president gave a speech where he gave up to 3 paragraphs talking about Boko Haram. Did you hear anything new from what he said compared to what has been said or what the previous government was doing about Boko Haram?
I like when he talked about, number one, human rights abuses. They're going to try to avoid human rights abuses. So that shows that he's very conscious and that there's a way, an ethnic way to fight a war. And that hasn't been emphasized enough, or wasn't emphasized enough in the past administration. So I really thought that was a very salient point to bring out. And of course, it was great for him to mention the Chibok girls. It was just a one-liner, the Chibok girls, but it was very, it was well appreciated. The crowd really liked when he said that. And there were so many ways of inshallah once he said, you know, we'll bring back the Chibok girls. Yeah,
I know that line that we cannot claim to have defeated Boko Haram without rescuing the Chibok girls. Now we know that the military, they've been able to get into Sambisa forest and they've not seen them. They've been able to retake most of the towns. They've not seen them. What do you think? Where are they, and how are they going to find them? I mean, do you think it's something that is practical considering where we are in that fight?
I do think that they are going to find them. Why? Because today, right after the inauguration, a U.S. military official actually met with Buhari. So that official was the first foreign official to meet with the new president. So that meeting basically was finalizing moves for the United States to bring military advisors into Nigeria. And of course, there was a strained relationship between Nigeria and America in the past because of the human rights abuses. So now with this new administration, America is opening up its arms once again on the military front. So I do believe that these girls will be found. Last year, we know that the U.S. military, they were able to actually spot the Chibok girls on satellite images. So I think that with that expertise and that technology, once again, will be on an advantage to finding these girls. Locals still believe very much that the Chibok girls are within Nigeria. We heard 2 weeks ago, Borno State Governor saying that the girls are hiding in bunkers that are hidden in Sambisa Forest. So I do think that we're going to have better luck this time because U.S. military is actually opening its arms once again to Nigeria.
Now, another part of the speech talked about power supply in Nigeria. I know recently there have been issues with power supply has been going down, the amount of power we produce, and of course the fuel shortages. Were you impressed by what he said about that, and is there any change in the power situation in Abuja?
I wish I could actually find that quote where he talked about the power, but basically he kind of scoffed at the millions of dollars that have been thrown into the power sector since 1999, transitioning to civilian government. And he said that nothing is done. You know, all we have to show for this millions of dollars thrown into power is misery, frustration, and darkness. I think those are the three words that he used. And it was an amazing description of what's actually happening. And of course, it's been getting worse and worse for me personally the past month or so. And I think it's great that he actually spoke about the elephant in the room. He didn't want to ignore it, and he actually punched at this issue very hard. He tackled it. He was very tactical, but he actually did tackle this thinking that everyone is thinking, of course, because of course this corresponds with the fuel subsidy, and everyone's wondering what's going to happen with Buhari and fuel subsidy.
Now, let's go beyond Abuja, because we know that other parts of the country, there are state governors who are leaving and new ones are taking over. I want you to tell us, what are you hearing happening in Bayelsa State, where the former president went back to? What did you hear?
Well, I'm hearing that he was received with open arms. I think that his Ijab people are like, you know, welcome back, brother. And they're actually quite pleased to hear that he's willing to just settle back in Otueke. There are rumors that maybe Patience doesn't want to do that. We don't know. I don't want to speculate. But the fact that he's able to say, let me just go back to my native land, settle, I'm a son of the soil, I've done the best that I can for Nigeria. And he's saying that what he wants to focus on now is peace building and kind of play that elder statesman's role. So the fact that he was received so well, because, you know, after he conceded defeat, what was that, March 29th or so, after the elections, a lot of Ijab people were actually quite disappointed. We heard them threaten things like that. So the fact that he was able to appease and placate his own people, and again, he's coming back, I think it's very symbolic. It's very significant that he's just coming back to his own people, and they're welcoming him with open arms.
Now, what about Kaduna State? What are you hearing happening there, where El Rufai took over as the governor of the state?
Well, I heard that there was a big street party. I talked to a few people in Kaduna, and El Rufai has such a mixed. There are a lot of mixed feelings about El Rufai here in Nigeria. Here in Abuja, actually, some people actually remember his FCT ministerial administration with nostalgia, despite the fact that he kind of pushed away, poor people. But a lot of people talk about his time here. I was talking to some colleagues yesterday who lived in Abuja during FCT, when he was an FCT minister, and they said that the capital city was so clean, it was very efficient. Everything was clearly demarcated, residential area versus commercial area. So I think a lot of people in Kaduna, his home state, are kind of wanting for those changes to be brought there. Kaduna, it's such a, I see it as a metropolis. I've been, several times, and I think that it's time for an upgrade because a lot of Kaduna and Kano people, they're wanting that change to kind of go to the north. And also Kaduna has been comparing itself with the changes that Kwankwaso is doing in Kano. So they're kind of trying to see if this can be paralyzed in Kaduna as well, trying to see if that change can be made as far as infrastructural development.
Okay. For international media or for a media like AP that you work for, what would be the headlines for tomorrow?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people are wondering about the first family, so trying to see how Aisha, the wife, and the children will settle in. I mean, I think there are already pictures swirling all over the internet with Aisha and the daughters. I think I saw like 6 daughters. He has a lot of daughters. So I think that would be a headline. People would like to see what's going to happen with the first family, just kind of moving into Asho Villa. So I'd like to see that headline. And then, of course, the cabinet, like who's he going to pick? So, yeah, we're all waiting.
All right, Chika Odua, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, we are going to talk to Dr. Perry Bremer, who is also in Abuja. We're going to get his perspective on the events of today. And of course, we are going to take your calls. We want to hear your feedback on some of these issues we've been discussing. Stay tuned.
And I'm running for Miss Nigeria USA 2015 representing Ondo State. And I just want to give a special shout out to Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Yes, it's here. Big up in the same state. This is the music I'm talking about. My name is Chief, and you know what? I just finished my performance right now. Shout out to Sahara TV, our own massive TV reporter.
Hi, this is Tosinga, Afro Soul, Afro Folk artist. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, what's up, Africa? They call me Race, and you're watching Sahara TV. Keep it up, don't go nowhere.
Hi, my name is Zanele Moholi, all the way from South Africa, reporting from New York. I'm at Sahara Studios, reporting anything and everything, covering and documenting Africa with Africans in the house. Thank you.
Why did you make the trip to be here today, sir?
To witness the beginning of another chapter in the history of Lagos State. So history behoves everyone who is passionate about this state and who believe that the current administration headed by APC has done very well for the state. And when you take all of this together as a citizen and a member of the community in Lagos, I believe that I should witness history, I should feel it, I should touch it, I should smell it, I should be a part of it. So it's beyond staying back in the comforts of my house and watching on TV, feeling the vibe, seeing it happen. I think it's worth it.
All right. Now let me ask you, what do you expect to see as far as Lagos is concerned in the next 4 years?
Well, Lagos has always had the good fortune, if I can use that word, always have articulate leaders in office. From the very beginning of the creation of the state, that's Mobolaji Johnson era, even to the last governor, the outgoing governor today, Mr. Basude Fashola, they have all done extremely well for the state, extremely well. But in the next 4 years, under Ambode, I'm sure that the focus will be on people, harnessing the people's strength in Lagos, empowering the Lagos people, and showing them the path to salient riches in Lagos, that the people of Lagos and even everyone all over the world can come and benefit greatly from. So in the next 4 years, I see a government that would consolidate on the gains of the past administration. I see a governor who is rich in pedigree, who is rich in deliverables, and whose manifesto cuts across the entire fabric of the Lagos society. So we see that the tradition of excellence in Lagos State will continue. That's what we'll see in the next 4 years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fisher. It's a pleasure meeting you.
His Excellency Vice President Yemi Osunbanjo and spouse, the Senate President and spouse, Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Lord Chief Justice of the Federation, former Presidents and Heads of State, Executive Governors here present, members of the National Assembly, members of the Diplomatic Corps, top government functionaries, captains of industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am immensely grateful to God who has preserved us to witness this day and this occasion. Today marks a triumph for Nigeria and an occasion to celebrate her freedom and cherish her democracy. Nigerians have shown their commitment to democracy and are determined to entrench its culture. Our journey has not been easy, but thanks to the determination of our people and strong support from friends abroad, we have today a truly democratically elected government in place. I would like to thank President Goodluck Jonathan for his display of statesmanship in setting a precedent for us that has now made our people proud to be Nigerians wherever they are. With the support and cooperation he has given to the transition process, he has made I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. A few people have privately posed fears that on coming back to office, I shall go after them. These fears are groundless. There will be no paying off old scores. The past is prologue. Our neighbors in the sub-Saharan region and our African brethren should rest assured that Nigeria, under our administration, will be ready to play any leadership role that Africa expects of it. Here, I would like to thank the governments and people of Cameroon, Chad, and Niger for committing their armed forces to fight Boko Haram in Nigeria. I also wish to assure the wider international community of our readiness to cooperate and help to combat threats of cross-border terrorism, sea piracy, refugees and boat people, financial crime, cyber crime, climate change, the spread of communicable diseases, and other challenges of the 21st century. At home, we face enormous challenges. Insecurity, pervasive corruption, the hitherto unending and seemingly impossible fuel and power shortages are the immediate concerns. responsibility to us. We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems. In recent times, Nigerian leaders appear to have misread our mission. Our founding fathers, Mr. Harvard Macaulay, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief of Ofemi Awolo, Alhaji Ahmad Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Malan Aminu Kano, Chief J.S. Tarka, Mr. Iyo Ita, Chief Dennis Osadibe, Chief Ladoke Akintola, and their colleagues work to establish certain standards of governance. They might have differed in their methods or tactics or details, but they were united in establishing a viable and progressive country. Some of their successors behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing disorder to the house. Furthermore, we as Nigerians must remind ourselves that we are heirs to great civilizations. Sheikh Osman Danfodio's Caliphate, the Kanem Borno Empire, the Oyo Empire, the Benin Empire, and King Jaja's formidable domain. The blood of those great ancestors flow in our veins. What is now required is to build on these legacies to modernize and uplift Nigeria. Daunting as the task may be, it is by no means insurmountable. There is now a national consensus that our chosen route to national development is democracy. To achieve our objectives, we must consciously work the democratic system. The federal executive under my watch will not seek to encroach on the duties and functions of the legislative and judicial arms of government. The law enforcing authorities will be charged to operate within the Constitution. We shall rebuild and reform the public service to become more effective and more serviceable. We shall charge them to apply themselves with integrity and stabilize the system. For their part, the legislative arm must keep to their brief of making laws, carrying out oversight functions, and doing so expeditiously. The judicial system needs reform to cleanse itself from its immediate past. The country now expects the judiciary to act with dispatch in all cases, especially on corruption, serious financial crimes, or abuse of office. It is only when the three arms act constitutionally that government will be enabled to serve the country optimally and avoid confusion all too often bedeviling governance today. Elsewhere, relations between Abuja and the states have to be clarified if we are to serve the country better. Constitutionally, there are limits to powers of each of the three tiers of government, but that should not mean the federal government should fold its arms and close its eyes to what is going on in the states and local governments. Not least, the operation of the local government joint account. While the federal government cannot interfere in the details of its operations, it will ensure that the gross corruption at the local level is checked. As far as the Constitution allows me, I will try to ensure that there is a responsible and accountable governance at all levels of government in the country. For I will not have kept my own trust with the Nigerian people if I allow others abuse theirs under my watch. However, no matter how well organized the governments of the Federation are, they cannot succeed without support, understanding, and cooperation of labor unions, organized private sector, the press, and civil society organizations. I appeal to employers and workers alike to unite in raising productivity so that everybody will have the opportunity to share in increased prosperity. The Nigerian press is the most vibrant in Africa. My appeal to the media today, and this includes the social media, is to exercise its considerable powers with responsibility and patriotism. My appeal for unity is predicated on the seriousness of the legacy we are getting into. With depleted foreign reserves, falling oil prices, leakages, and debts, the Nigerian economy is in deep trouble and will require careful management to bring it around and to tackle the immediate challenges confronting us, namely Boko Haram, the Niger Delta situation, the power shortages, and unemployment, especially among young people. For the longer term, we have to improve the standards of our education. We have to look at the whole field of Medicare. We have to upgrade our dilapidated physical infrastructure. The most immediate is Boko Haram's insurgency. Progress has been made in recent weeks by our security forces, but victory cannot be achieved by basing the command and control center in Abuja. The command center will be relocated to Maiduguri and remain until Boko Haram is completely subdued. But we cannot claim to have defeated Boko Haram without rescuing the Chibok girls and all other innocent persons held hostages by the insurgents. This government will do all it can to rescue them alive. Boko Haram is a typical example of small fires causing large fires. An eccentric and unorthodox preacher with a tiny following was given posthumous fame and following by his extrajudicial murder at the hands of the police. Since then, through official bungling, negligence, complacency, or collusion, Boko Haram became a terrifying force, taking tens of thousands of lives and capturing several towns and villages, covering swaths of Nigerian sovereign territory. Boko Haram is a mindless, godless group who are as far away from Islam as one can think of. At the end of the hostilities, when the group is subdued, the government intends to commission a sociological study to determine its origins, remote and immediate causes of the movement, its sponsors, the international connections, to ensure that measures are taken to prevent a recurrence of this evil. For now, the armed forces will be fully charged with prosecuting the fight against Boko Haram. We shall overhaul the rules of engagement to avoid human rights violations in operations. We shall improve operational and legal mechanisms so that disciplinary steps are taken against proven human rights violations by the armed forces. Boko Haram is not only the security issue bedeviling our country. The spate of kidnappings, armed robberies, herdsmen farmers clashes, cattle rustlings, all helped add to the general air of insecurity in our land. We are going to erect and maintain an efficient, disciplined, people-friendly, and well-compensated security forces within an overall security architecture. The amnesty program in the Niger Delta is due to end in December, but the government intends to invest heavily in the projects and programs currently in place. I call on the leadership and people in these areas to cooperate with the state and federal government in the rehabilitation programs, which will be streamlined and made more effective. As ever, I'm ready to listen to grievances of my fellow Nigerians. I extend my hands of fellowship to them so that we can bring peace and build prosperity for our people. No single cause can be identified to explain Nigeria's poor economic performance over the years than the power situation. It is a national shame that an economy of 180 million generates only 4,000 megawatts and distributes even less. Continues tinkering with the structures of power supply and distribution, and close to United States $20 billion expended since 1999 have only brought darkness, frustration, misery, and resignation among Nigerians. We will not allow this to go on. Careful studies are underway towards this transition to identify the quickest, safest, and most effective way to bring light and relief to Nigerians. Unemployment, notably youth unemployment, features strongly in our party's manifesto. We intend to attack the problem frontally through revival of agriculture, solid minerals mining, as well as credits to small and medium-sized businesses to kickstart these enterprises. We shall quickly examine the best way to revive major industries and accelerate the revival and development of our railways, roads, and general infrastructure. Your Excellencies, my fellow Nigerians, I cannot recall when Nigeria enjoyed so much goodwill abroad as now. The messages I receive from East and West, from powerful and small countries, are indicative of international expectations on us. At home, the newly elected government is basking in a reservoir of goodwill and high expectations. Nigeria, therefore, has a window of opportunity to fulfill our long-standing potential of pulling ourselves together and realizing our mission as a great nation. Our situation somehow reminds one of a passage in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and I quote, "There's a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and miseries," unquote. We have an opportunity. Let us take it. Thank you.
Sahara TV, yo man. PM. Now you're watching Sahara TV. Big up.
My name is Dr. Joby. You are watching Sahara TV. Everything Africa.
And Sahara TV came here to give me an opportunity to say hello to all my fans and to say that I love you. But on the behalf of Rent is Too Damn High Party, and I thank Sahara Reporter.tv for giving me the opportunity to be myself. Once again, we love you. I love you forever. Rent is too damn high.
This your boy Smokey Suarez. I'm at the Gramercy Theater. We on Sahara TV. Make sure y'all keep supporting it. Sahara TV, the #1 station in the nation. Holla at your boy Smokey Suarez. Peace.
Hi, my name is Ishmael Bea. I'm from Sierra Leone and an author, and you're watching Sahara TV, everything Africa. Peace.
We are Mother Africa. You're watching Sahara TV, everything Africa.
My name is Stanley.
My name is Aluchi.
You're watching Sahara TV.
Everything Africa.
Everything Africa.
Oluyemi Oluleke Osinbajo was born to Adeyemi and Bisi Osinbajo at the Creek Hospital, Lagos, on 8 March 1957. The young Yemi was enrolled into the Corona Primary School, where he gained his primary education. He then moved on to the Igbobi College, where between 1969 and 1975, his peers remember him as a disciplined and determined young lad. From 1975 to 1978, he studied to obtain his undergraduate degree in law at the University of Lagos, where he was awarded an LLB. He would go on to obtain a Master of Laws degree in 1981 after attending the London School of Economics. As a lawyer, Oluyemi Osinbajo excelled, propelling his career to enviable heights only years after leaving school. In 1981, he was employed as a law lecturer at his alma mater, the University of Lagos. From 1988 to 1992, he was appointed as a specialist advisor on legal advice and litigation to the then Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. From 1999 to 2007, Osinbajo was also a member of Cabinet at the Lagos State Ministry of Justice, later becoming Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice himself. During the period of his public service, Professor Osinbajo is credited with having set up the Lagos State Justice Reform Project, under which was inaugurated the Directorate for Citizens' Rights, DCR, which provides free legal services and legal representation to citizens who cannot afford legal fees. This initiative gave a voice to many who would otherwise not have a way to access legal representation. He is also credited with undertaking vital and far-reaching judicial reform in Lagos State, especially in the areas of judges' recruitment, remuneration, training, and discipline. As a civil servant, Professor Oluyemi Osinbajo has displayed impeccable dedication and a proven track record of achievements. It is therefore little wonder that on December 17, 2014, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, General Muhammadu Buhari, announced him as his running mate and vice presidential candidate during the 2015 general elections. Earlier, he had been at the pinnacle of a team tasked with drafting a manifesto for the newly formulated All Progressives Congress Alliance. The manifesto, titled Roadmap to a New Nigeria, advocated for, among a litany of other things, a free schools meal program, a conditional cash transfer to the 25 million poorest Nigerians if they enroll their children in school and also immunize them, as well as other programs designed to create economic opportunities for Nigerian youth. During the campaign season, a picture of Professor Osinbajo, ostensibly taken for PR purposes, went viral when the opposition People's Democratic Party latched on to lambast the vice presidential candidate for neglecting his family. The photo showed him in a ramshackle madhouse believed to be his family home with some purported relatives. The table, however, seemed to have turned when Nigerians chose to see the glass as half full rather than half empty. The common interpretation seemed to be that the law professor is a man of humble beginnings and great achievements. As General Buhari's running mate, he worked tirelessly crisscrossing the length and breadth of Nigeria, selling their mutual vision, as well as globetrotting when the need arose. Pundits believe he made a great impact in the campaign, especially among Nigerians in the diaspora.
Fantastic. So, one of the first questions everybody has, and I have, of course, is what did it feel like when you were called to become vice president?
Well, I was, quite frankly, surprised because I hadn't thought, the speculation had been on, okay. Because I, amongst others, and you know the way these things are, there's always a lot of speculation.
Yes.
But I thought my name was just to add a bit of spice to the numbers. Right. I really didn't think that I would emerge as the candidate. So I was quite surprised.
His humility further stood out when he was captured in the press paying a courtesy call on the son of Nigerian music legend Fela Kuti. The visit he paid to Femi Kuti was historic in the sense that his running mate, General Buhari, had jailed Femi's father, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, in 1984. Thus, the mutual smiles on the faces of Femi Kuti and Professor Yemi Osinbajo in the pictures taken at their meeting seemed to indicate what most Nigerians have been waiting for: a reborn nation where the radical is welcomed alongside the conservative. A new Nigeria on the threshold of history, where reconciliation is identified as a key element in forging the common destiny of peoples of very diverse ethnic, political, religious, and social backgrounds. As an ordained pastor of the Olive Tree House of Prayer for All Nations, Professor Osinbajo also represents the face of morality and honesty. In 2007, he, together with his wife Olu Dolapo, founded the Orderly Society Trust, a non-governmental organization dedicated to the promotion of Christian ethics and orderliness. On 31st March 2015, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared General Buhari winner of the presidential elections. Professor Oluyemi Oluleke Osinbajo by default became the Vice President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Together, they symbolize the face of hope and a new beginning for most Nigerians. President-elect Buhari is one of the many Nigerians who are convinced that this legal giant is well positioned to be his able lieutenant in the battle to turn Nigeria around positively. In his words, and I quote, "To assist me in this great task of securing Nigeria's future, I have chosen a man of impeccable integrity, an excellent professional, a man of faith, a devoted family man, and a role model to our fellow countrymen and women," unquote. Whether or not this faith reposed in them will still be intact after 4 years is anybody's guess. For now, however, Nigerians welcome Professor Oluyemi Oluleke Osinbajo as their new vice president. He is married to Dolapo Ni Soyode Osinbajo, a granddaughter of the fabled Obafemi Awolowo. They are blessed with 3 children.
Please join us on SaharaReporters.com and also on SaharaReporters.tv, and also subscribe on our live stream and YouTube channels.
Welcome back to Sahara TV. This is the Talk Back segment. We've had the experts, they spoke. We've had different people from different walks of life. We now want to talk to regular people. We want to know your feedback about this important day. And joining me to discuss this and to take your calls is our own Toyosi Philip. Toyosi, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much.
This is the first time we're doing this.
Yes, I know.
That's interesting. All right. So this has been a very important day, and we've been having talks. We've been talking to experts, professors. We've talked to journalists, people across the world. Now we want to hear their feedback about what has been going on. So what is your take so far about what happened today?
I think everybody is, well, a lot of people are happy. Let me just put it that way. A lot of people are ready for change. A lot of people are ready for Buhari to start working, and I think people are actually open to giving him a chance to give him time to prove himself. And the feel I get generally, and even from the people that have spoken today, is they are ready for change. And they're happy with Buhari.
Now, what about the speech that he gave?
I liked the speech. And of course, that one line that has become the most important line to a lot of people is that I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. It says a lot. I think it's very heavy. I think it kind of depicts and shows the kind of person he is. It's actually explanatory, self-explanatory, the statement he made, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. So it kind of gives us hope that there will be no favoritism in his administration and he will be approachable.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, we want to remind our viewers that you can talk to us. The phone number is 917-284-9811. Again, 917-284-9811. Call us and we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about today's event, the show we've been presenting to you, and everything about what happened today. These are some of the headlines that are in the news today. Fayose praises Buhari's inaugural speech. Fayose, that's the governor of Ekiti State. So we are going to, I think this is a new beginning, and maybe there is a new tone from Fayose too, so that will be very interesting. Also, another headline is this one that says, I was worried I would be booed. That was Jonathan talking about when he got to Bayelsa. He wasn't sure how he will be received. I think he was received well, and he expressed that.
I think we have concern. A caller on the line.
All right, so we have a new caller. Let's hear. That's our first one. Hello, welcome to Sahara TV.
Hello, Rudolph. How are you doing? You all right?
Good. So, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Christopher Ojeme. I'm calling from Bristol, United Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you. Welcome to the show.
All right, thank you.
So what do you have to say? What do you think about the event today and the inauguration and everything? What's your perspective?
Well, it's been historic in the sense that we personally didn't think that Jonathan was going to hand over, but he's done that. Buhari, we know Buhari a little bit. We don't know Buhari in total because he really didn't have the opportunity to prove himself when he came with Diagbo under a different dispensation. But one thing I want to note is this praise singing we Nigerians are fond of doing. It's shocking that we have collective amnesia. We seem to forget the evils of the past leaders and don't have the knack for holding people to account for their actions. And it's shocking. It's funny. If you allow people off the hook so easily, there is no deterrent for anyone. Buhari is just one man. Yemi Osibanjo is just one man. There is nothing they can do. If the people do not demand for justice, do not demand for restoration and retribution, there's nothing they can do. And Nigeria cannot continue like this. There's got to be a change. I've spoken to a lot of Nigerians. I've mixed with a lot of Nigerians by virtue of what I do. And I tend to be disappointed each time I try to talk to the intelligentsia. We see things differently, slightly less human. Less human, if I may use that word. I'm not insulting anyone. We do not see the effect of monies being stolen from the treasury, the effect of the impunity displayed by these so-called politicians, some of these idiots who call themselves our rulers. We do not seem to have the knack to agree on common issues like health, education, and crime, we look towards the wrong place. And most of all, my pain is that we have not been able to hold the religious circle responsible for the evil they've done to Nigeria, especially the Pentecostal fold. We have not been able to decipher the fact that our problem, it's more like religious. You know, it's so broad that I cannot say this. But again, I want to thank God and congratulate the man who says he doesn't want to be addressed as Major General Muhammadu Buhari, but Mr. I congratulate him, and I think I've said all I've always wanted to say.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you very much,
so much,
Christopher.
Now,
thank you, Rudolph. Thank you.
Thank you. The point is, I know it will come up constantly, which is, are we going to let the past misdeeds, are we going to let it go? Are we going to go back and deal with that? That's something that most Nigerians are worried about. And from the indication that Buhari is giving, he doesn't want to spend a lot of time dealing with those issues.
Exactly, because it's something I've thought about as well, that is that the first thing, is that his priority right now, to punish previous offenders? Should that be his priority?
Yeah, but the thing is that if it's not done, people will continue to do what they're doing, what they've been doing. I mean, there are people in civil service, they've been there for years, and that's all they know. That's the process they are used to. So something has to be done to tell people that you cannot do this anymore. And the people that did it, this is the punishment.
Okay, but he's been there for less than 24 hours. We don't even know his plans.
But yeah, people are basing it on the speech and all the other things he's been saying during interviews, you know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Also, he mentioned the issue of
the churches.
No, yeah, the churches is one. But I'm always interested in when people talk about the elite, elite in the society. We've asked that question: who is responsible for the failure of the country? Is it the masses? Is it the elite? Is it the leadership? You know, I think every group they have.
Every group has a role to play.
Yeah,
every group has
and responsibility too in what happened.
Yeah.
But I understand why most people take issues with the elite.
I mean, I feel like the elite, those in the private sector, should they, if they have been practicing properly, do you understand? If everything that they have done has been in good practice, they've done well, and they've made their money honestly, I don't think you should blame them for the failure of a country, because they are capitalists. They are there to make money. They are there to change their own lives.
We'll get back to that. Hold that thought. We have another caller. Hold on. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Is that Ernest from Atlanta?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Can you turn down the volume of your computer, please?
Turn down.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I just want to give a big congratulations to the Nigerian nation and to the new administration. And we look, like every Nigerian, we look forward for good things to come.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I want to extend my congratulations to former President Jonathan for the way he handled the transition, even during the election, or his politics. After the election, he called President Buhari and gave him a congratulatory message, and I think that went a long way to avert civil strife.
Yeah.
And we've seen the results now. So congratulations to every Nigerian as I'm concerned.
Yes.
So did you watch the event today?
Yes, I did watch the event, but obviously I had to go to work. But when I came back, I just came back from work just about shortly, and I turned into Sahara TV, and I saw you guys were still here, so I said, let me call in.
Oh, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. So fundamentally, it looks like for many people, this is a new beginning.
Yes.
The expectations are high. We know that. How do we measure now? Do we say, most people are saying 100 days to before we start judging?
Yeah, some are saying 90 days.
90 days.
Yeah.
What will be the first thing that people should be looking forward to seeing for kind of changes or indication how the government is going to tackle some of these numerous issues.
Exactly, like you said, there are numerous issues.
Yeah.
I think the very first thing that should be paid maybe the most attention to is fuel and petrol, everything that has to do with the petroleum industry. There should just be an overhaul of whoever is there, and there should be like things, we should see a change in that ministry. We should see a change in that industry. I think that's one of the first things that he should tackle.
He mentioned that in the speech. He said those are the immediate concerns.
Exactly.
Shortage of power and petrol. That one I think is easy to handle in terms of petrol, at least supply. But the bigger question is, when do we start refining our own petrol? And the power one will take a long time.
The power will take a long time.
Yeah, the power situation will take a long time.
Yeah.
But so what else did you hear in the speech that
I think we have a new caller on the
we
line.
have a new caller. Okay.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome to the show.
This is I'm calling from Houston. Can I go ahead with my contribution?
Yes, please go ahead with your contribution. Thank you for calling in.
Okay. At the moment, in my own opinion, I think what the president-elect president wants to do right now is to concentrate on the agenda that he has for the people of Nigeria, instead of going back too much onto the damages that has been done.
Okay, Tunde, your line is now very clear for our viewers. They may not be able to hear you. We will ask that you call back and let's see if it will be better than what it is now. But, you know, I think what he's trying to say is that, which is what most people are concerned about, if he goes back to deal with probing people, that would take time away from pursuing
essential issues.
Some of his agenda.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I still think that most things are going on in Nigeria are systematic, and they're already going on if you don't do anything to stop it. And part of the things that you can do is, one, you have to punish the people that did things bad in the past, and secondly, you have to put in a system to stop people from continuing to do those things. And the easiest way in Nigeria, the easiest way to stop people from doing bad things is to punish the people that did it.
You think so?
No, that's the easiest way.
I feel like with President Buhari now being president, a lot of people know they cannot try all the things that they used to try before. I don't know if it's me being naive, I don't know, but it's like a new head. A lot of things happened under Jonathan, and people just did those things because they knew that he would not do anything. So I don't think punishing past offenders should be the focus right now of this new administration. I think if there are now new offenders, fresh offenders, or people who somehow continue with the rubbish they have been doing, then they can be punished. But I don't think going after the past offenders right now is primary and is important.
Okay, all right. Let's hear from the new caller. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
Rudolph. Good afternoon, Toyosi, right?
Yes, Toyosi, thank you.
Great. Yes. My name is Abiola, and I'm calling from Edmonton, Canada.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I would first like to join the previous callers in saying congratulations to Nigerians. And the issue at stake is if this guy is going to probe previous or past rulers. And I can sincerely tell you guys that he does not have the capacity to do that because he would just be chasing shadows. And there's so much rot in the system. There are a lot of things for this guy to concentrate on now than chasing those past offenders. So he needs to, I don't know if there's anything apart from hitting the ground running. If he can just start signing now, that would be awesome because he needs to get the Chibok girls back. He needs to deal with Boko Haram. He needs to get gas. I mean, he has a lot on his plate already. So I would just say, let bygones be bygones. Yes, there's a risk that people will continue to do what they did. But look, Nigeria is a very peculiar country. 3-4 months down the line, we're very restless. We're very impatient. If we don't get results, we start to shout.
Yeah.
We start to demand results. So my advice to Buhari right away is just start solving problems.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Abiola.
Thank you, Abiola.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's very important because I'm looking at the speech where it was a place he said, Nigerians will not regret that they have entrusted national responsibility to us. We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems. Yeah. So on one hand, we talked about him trying to lower expectations, and here he's saying that we are going to do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will be waiting to see things change.
Yeah, exactly.
Problems fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing I like that he said was that the states are independent, but the federal government cannot close their eyes when the states go wrong.
Yes.
And I would also hope that there would be no punishment of any state if he's not in agreement with the leader of that state. Because I remember when Tinubu was governor of Lagos State, and there was some conflict between him and Obasanjo. I know that he held back some of the funds for Lagos State, and Lagos State was almost not in debt, but they did not have as much as they should have had. So I hope there will be none of that with this administration, and fair will be fair.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this new caller.
We have a new caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I just want to make a comment about about the topic. I say.
Before you start, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hakim from Berlin.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to say congratulations to Sahara TV. Yeah, I've been watching your program like almost every time, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to you, Rudolph, and Adeola, if I know she's not there now.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that our problem in Nigeria, if I should say that, because I hate to sound like a nationalist person because I'm not. We are like a two tribalism, yeah. We have to get this thing out of our head. Like we are all the same people. We're all the same human. I'm here in Germany where it's not like a place where I was born, but it's like a fight for me every day to even. For others who think that you are a black person, you are not supposed to be here, all this stuff. Yeah. So not to talk about people that you are born in the same place with them, but somehow they see you that, oh, you are Yoruba, or you are Hausa, or you are this, that. So we have to stop this tribalism. If somebody is corrupt, it means it's corrupt. So it's not issue of like if the person is from one part of a place, then we have to support him even though if he's doing something bad. Yeah. So I mean, we just hope that Buhari will be the best president that we wish him to be. Yeah. So
Hakim, let me ask you one question. Hakim, let me ask you, the TV stations in Germany, did they report what happened in Nigeria? Did they show the process, the swearing in of Buhari?
I don't watch German television. I always like watch Sahara or I watch Jazeera. This is what I watch, or sometimes BBC like this. But I think it's like in everywhere. If you watch the Jazeera, it's like the top story in their site.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, quite interesting. So the issue of some of the things that Buhari said and some of the things that we are going to concern ourselves, we'll be watching because he has to appoint his cabinet and special assistants and aides. That will give indication about like the direction he's going. Is he going to bring in technocrats, or is he going to bring in politicians to dominate the cabinet? That will also be an indication of how he sees his administration. And in the past, people have said that he's not a hands-on administrator. He basically delegates things to people. And so we will be watching out for those to know how this administration is going to shape up.
Again, I want to say people are judging him based on what he did before.
In the past,
That's just to give him a chance now.
Okay,
We have a new caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Yes, this is David from Los Angeles.
Thank you for joining us, David.
Yeah. First, to the event that took place today, I was very proud. I think Nigerians should be very proud because it just showed if we decide in our minds to do something, to put something together, we can do it. I love the pageantry of it. I love the pomp of it. I love the wives of the president and the vice president. They looked splendid. It was just great. I mean, it was just great TV.
Yeah.
Now, to the point about his speech, I know that Toyosi, is that
yes,
that's his name?
Toyosi, yes.
Yeah, I know you were saying, oh, forget about, the past. Don't. I'm just wondering where he's going to get the money to do all this stuff that he's doing. I think Buhari can walk and chew gum at the same time, or let me put it a different way. I think the Nigerian government can walk and chew gum at the same time. He doesn't have to do it. He can set up some apparatus that can, take care of this. Like a committee. Yeah, something, somewhere. You just can't say, oh, forget the past, because like Dr. Damages says, all these folks are just going to look at this, oh, okay, so we can do it, and no matter how much he screams about it, we're going to get away with it. Now, what are the children going to say when they hear this, because basically what these folks have done is just stolen the future of the children, stolen the future of the country. Right. Now, I knew that he probably wouldn't go this route, because if you are to have Obasanjo and IBB sitting there behind you, you must have made a deal with the devil. So I just knew he probably wouldn't do this, but I just hope that he will revisit this, set up something that can go back, maybe indiscreetly, maybe covertly, and get some of this money back, because he needs the money. I mean, we need the money. Where is he going to get the money? Also, I am going to be looking at how he deals with the subsidy thing, because then that would tell me where he goes. Is he going to remove the subsidy? Is he not going to remove the subsidy? Because what we hear now is that the cabal that stole Nigeria blind are all over television saying the subsidy should be removed. I have not heard anyone on the side of the ordinary Nigerian who's using this fuel say no, they need the subsidy. The subsidy is not the issue, it's corruption. Corruption is the issue, the big C. And if he can check that, like he says, I think that would be great. Now, one thing before I go, I loved when he said that he was going to stick his nose into the local governments. Yeah, he was going to stick his nose there, because you know what? I've always heard people say, oh, Fashola has done great for Lagos. But that's a farce, because when you go to Lagos, Fashola has done great for Ikoyi. He's done great for Victoria Island. Yeah, and Lekki. But when you go to where the masses live, it's a dump, And then when you ask folks, how come, you guys are saying Fashola did great for Lagos, but this place is, like a dump? Oh, it's a local government's thing there, the local government responsibility. And I mean, that's BS. So when Buhari said that he was going to stick his nose into the local government's way of doing things, I said yes, And also when he mentioned labor union. So anyway, there was some good stuff about his speech, and I loved when he brought back the history of Nigeria, when he talked about the past leaders, the greatness of Nigeria, and he just wondered where all these new characters came from, and it just, it was nice. I just hope that he has that connection. Keeps that connection to the ground, to the people on the ground, and not get swept away by the same stuff that sweeps away our past leaders.
Thank you very much, great. David.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
I just want to address something. Now, I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm not saying people in the past should not be punished at all. I'm just saying that should not be his primary focus in the first days in office. That's one. And then two, he said something about Lagos State and Fashola not doing great for all of Lagos State. And actually, Buhari made a good point talking about the local governments. And to be honest, that's a fair point. I think the local governments need more attention than the state government overall, because it's the local governments that have connections with the people directly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
They're at the grassroots level.
Yeah, the issue about money, where will he get the money if nothing is done about the past?
Yeah.
This bigger thing, it's not just about the money that is stolen, but also there are deals that are signed already that means that a lot of money will not come to the government.
Yeah.
So you have to look at them, like in the oil industry, there's so many gas and oil deals that are already signed. And if you remember, when Yar'Adua came into power, he stopped some of the things that were signed by Obasanjo when he was leaving, like the selling of the refineries. He reversed it. So Buhari may be forced to do some of these things. Otherwise, money will continue to go the way
he has a lot to do.
Yeah.
He has a lot
All right,
to do. We have a new caller.
Hello?
Hi, is that Adamu from Ohio?
Yeah, Adamu, welcome to Sahara TV.
Yeah, thank you so much. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you.
Well, I call in to express my joy and happiness that we are seeing a new dawn in the history of Nigeria. And I don't know what to say, but trust me, I was awake all through to watch live the inauguration of our president. And I can only see excitement, expectation, and hope on the faces of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I know for a certain that a lot of things are going to change right now in Nigeria. Well, one thing I discovered that is so important is when he made the statement, I belong to everybody, but I belong to nobody.
Yeah.
So the era of, I'm a member of PDP, so I do something wrong and, we allow it to go. The culture of impunity, I want to believe, is a thing of the past in the coming months, as we're going to see.
Yeah.
One other thing that is so important is drawing the kids and the youth to the sacrifices that was made by the leaders in the past. For me, that is also very important because it's like trying to reawaken the spirit of patriotism in every Nigerian, both old and young, on the need for all hands to be on deck to see that this new Nigeria that is a dream of everybody will be accomplished, at least to a level whereby every Nigerian can be proud anywhere in the world to say, yes, I'm truly a Nigerian.
Yes.
A Nigeria whereby all our professionals will be on ground to contribute their quota as opposed to be spread around America and Europe and other parts of the world, contributing to their GDP to the detriment of our own country.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a new dawn and a great thing is actually happening in Nigeria, and I'm truly very happy about that.
Thank you very much, Adamu. Thank you.
Now, I wanted to address the issue of past leaders, and there was a place he said in the speech, talking about the past, he called them, let me see the exact word he used, founding fathers. Then he talked about, he said, some of their successors, those who succeeded our founding fathers, behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing disorder to the house. So I don't know if that includes some of the people behind him. But the issue is that if you recognize that they behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing the house to disorder, what is he going to do about it? Is he going to look away?
I don't know when it happened, but I know that something definitely changed in Nigeria when the culture of greed became the norm. So it was like we suddenly had a new set of leaders who were greedy, who were just concerned about their own pockets. Now, what will he do to change that?
Yeah.
And like you said, there are some people in his camp who are questionable and have
even
questionable...
people behind him on the podium there. And also, let's take this call and then we'll talk more.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, Nasir from Malaysia.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much for the good job.
Thank you.
Great.
So what do you have to say about today?
Yeah, I don't know how to express my feelings. I know that most of us who are in Biafra, especially, those of us who go through different countries can understand what Nigeria is like.
Yeah.
And what the change we have been yearning for because of the experience. Even this exchange rate is another issue. And the way people look at us.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy. But I still want to stress on a caller from Germany, the statement that he emphasized about the statement of General Buhari, the issue of he is for nobody,
yes,
and he is for everybody.
Yes.
You see, sometimes I say somebody cannot understand that unless if you travel all over Nigeria. Like I remember I school in Nigerian Grammar School in Port Harcourt, my primary school Kano, my secondary school Port Harcourt, my first degree Zaria. So I learned a lot of things about our character. Especially when you go to, you see, if there's somebody abusing me at Houseman, I don't bother because I say, Equatorial man doesn't agree to be evil man. He's a fiacre.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. But when we are saying here about leaders, it's mostly this is as a result of our leaders. I don't believe I like the statement that he said he's not for anybody and he's for everybody.
Yes.
Now, sir, let me ask you. I know that you're in Malaysia, and we had people complain about how Nigerians are treated there, and you just talked about the way people look at us. Do you think there is anything he could do to change the way Nigerians are seen outside of Nigeria, or especially in Malaysia?
Anyway, I don't know much about what you are saying about the complaints, even though I am the president of Nigerians in the school here. The treatment, unless if you are talking about the issue of the laws regarding to drugs and other stuff. But honestly speaking, most of the people who complain, maybe they have. I don't have to explain much to understand. Most of them go against their laws,
yeah,
one way or the other. But I believe the people here, because like when I was in UK, I experienced that. I'm also experiencing it here in Malaysia. The people here, they are very simple and they can change. Because I remember General Buhari was a friend, very tight friend of their former minister, and I met him recently in house of General Buhari. And I believe she can do that because they are easy-going people, if only it's in the favor of the good people of Nigeria and not, otherwise.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nasir. Thank you.
So, so we will continue to have this discussion about what it means, and as soon as we start hearing from the government in terms of appointments and direction that they are going to go, we will be able to have a concrete base to talk about their plans. You know, I know that we are running out of time. We have a panel of young people coming up to discuss this speech and this transition, what it means for the young. And not that I'm old, not that you're old, but I just wanted to make it clear. But we have very young people who are interested in talking about this. So we are going to take a break and let them come here and talk about that. Remember, tomorrow again we'll be live from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that happened today and much more. So stay tuned.
My name is Chikadi Eme, and I'm running for Miss Nigeria USA 2015, representing Ondo State. And I just want to give a special shout out to Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Yes, it's your big up in the same state. This is a music on Taliban. My name is Zoe and you know what? I just finished my performance right now. Shout out to Sahara TV, our own massive TV reporter.
Hi, this is Tosinga, Afro Soul, Afro Folk artist. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, what's up, Africa? They call me Race, and you're watching Sahara TV. Keep it up, don't go nowhere.
Hi, my name is Zanele Moholi, all the way from South Africa, reporting from New York.
at Sahara Studios, reporting anything and everything, covering and documenting Africa with Africans in the house. Thank you.
Why did you make the trip to be here today, sir?
To witness the beginning of another chapter in the history of Lagos State. So history behoves everyone who is passionate about this state and who believe that the current administration headed by APC has done very well for the state. And when you take all of this together as a citizen and a member of the community in Lagos, I believe that I should witness history, I should feel it, I should touch it, I should smell it, I should be a part of it. So it's beyond staying back in the comforts of my house and watching on TV, feeling the vibe, seeing it happen. I think it's worth it.
All right. Now let me ask you, what do you expect to see as far as Lagos is concerned in the next 4 years?
Well, Lagos has always had the good fortune, if I can use that word, always have articulate leaders in office. From the very beginning of the creation of the state, that's Mobolaji Johnson era, even to the last governor, the outgoing governor today, Mr. Basude Fashola, they have all done extremely well for the state, extremely well. But in the next 4 years, under Ambode, I'm sure that the focus will be on people, harnessing the people's strength in Lagos, empowering the Lagos people, and showing them the path to salient riches in Lagos that the people of Lagos and even everyone all over the world can come and benefit greatly from. So in the next 4 years, I see a government that would consolidate on the gains of the past administration. I see a governor who is rich in pedigree, who is rich in deliverables, and whose manifesto cut across the entire fabric of the Lagos society. So we see that the tradition of excellence in Lagos State will continue. That's what we'll see in the next 4 years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fisher. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Nigeria's new president, Muhammadu Buhari, born on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina. Buhari is the 23rd child of his father, Adamu Buhari. He attended provincial secondary school, which is now known as Government College in Katsina, before serving in the Nigerian military from 1961 to 1985. After graduating from the Nigerian Military Training College, which has now become the Nigerian Defense Academy, and whilst in the military, Buhari furthered his education at the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England, the Army Mechanical Transport School in Borden, United Kingdom, the Defense Services Staff College in Wellington, India, and the U.S. Army War College in Pennsylvania consecutively. From 1975 to 1976, he, under the leadership of Murtala Mohammed, was appointed the governor of Northeastern State, which is now known today as Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, Taraba, Adamawa, and Gombe states. From 1976 to 1978, Buhari, under the military leadership of General Olusegun Obasanjo, was appointed the Minister for Petroleum and Natural Resources, as well as the chairperson of the newly founded Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. On December 31st, 1983, he became Nigeria's 7th head of state after a coup that overthrew the democratic elected government of President Shehu Shagari. Despite being famous for tackling corruption in his time, Buhari's administration was also marred by various human rights violations. In August of 1985, his government was overthrown by General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who imprisoned him for 3 years. After his release, later Buhari served as the chairperson of Petroleum Trust Fund under the leadership of the late General Sani Abacha from 1994 to 1999 before launching his campaign for re-election under a democratic government. But then in 2003, Buhari, now a civilian, contested the presidential election as the candidate for the Nigerian People's Party, the ANPP. He was defeated by the People's Democratic Party nominee, who was then President Olusegun Obasanjo at the time. In 2006, Buhari ran again as the candidate of the ANPP, but was defeated by the PDP's Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who also hailed from his home state of Katsina. In 2010, he left the ANPP for the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, a party he had helped found. Buhari was the CPC presidential candidate in 2011 election and was again defeated, this time by the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan of the PDP party. In 2015, for the fourth time, Muhammadu Buhari stood for elections, but this time clinched success against the PDP's incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. Muhammadu Buhari won Nigeria's presidential election, defeating the long-ruling People's Democratic Party and President Goodluck Jonathan in a historical but contentious tight race. Buhari, who was 72 years old and also the former military dictator, won 15.4 million votes against Jonathan's 13.3 million votes, according to a Reuters tally in all 36 Nigerian states. President Jonathan was a worthy opponent, and I extend the hand of fellowship to him. Buhari told this to journalists and supporters to loud applause. Before Buhari won the election, he made a statement about concentrating on three major areas in Nigeria, which are notably insecurity, the economy/unemployment, and corruption. He promises his administration will nip insecurity in the bud. Buhari also stated that immediately after his inauguration on the 29th of May, 2015, he would want to be referred to as Muhammadu Buhari instead of General Muhammadu Buhari. Most people believe President Buhari is going to bring about the change Nigeria desperately needs, and also because of the past record of a lack of tolerance for corruption. There is a chance for a better Nigeria. Please join us on SaharaReporters.com and also on SaharaReporters.tv, and also subscribe on our live stream and YouTube channels.
Hi, I'm IYANYA, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, I'm ENIKA from Moshu.
Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm modeling here today.
And you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
This is Isaac Catalan, straight from the DRC. You know, giving shout out to Sahara TV, where everything Africa.
Hi, this is Martha Slay. Keep watching Sahara TV. Woo! Everything Africa.
Hi, I'm Aliyah Muhammad, president of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Untitled Chapter, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Mrs. Akpukwa Beatrice.
All right. Ms. Beatrice, why did you make the trip to be here today?
Because we are in support of Akim Ambode. We want him as our governor in Lagos State.
So what do you expect in the next 4 years in terms of development? What do you want Ambode to do as far as development is concerned in Lagos?
We want him to support our Association of Women Entrepreneurs in Nigeria, Lagos State. And also, we want lights. There's no lights in our area. We want him to help us in the area of lights. Then this fuel scarcity that is coming up now, we don't know how long it's going to take us. We want him to help us also.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Hi, my name is Julius the Genius Agu. You know what this is? In case you don't know, you're watching Sahara TV.
One love, Sahara TV. Everybody, Sahara TV, man. Go check it. To my body also.
Hi, I'm Mariama Keita, and keep watching Sahara TV.
Hi, my name is Funke Akindele Oloyede.
Hi everyone, welcome back. On behalf of the team here at Sahara Reporters, we'd like to touch upon a few different issues within the youth community in Nigeria that stem from unemployment to the lack of educational resources. So today, my panelists here, I have Adebola as well as Muhammad. So before we start, I just wanted to ask you guys, what did you think of the inauguration?
Well, I think it was a great event for Africa in general. You know, the fact that, you know, President Buhari is, you know, has, you know, become a part of, you know, the government after, you know, trying year after year, you know, like, you know, he's finally gotten it. He never, like, you know, he never took power away. It was a great inauguration, and it was a momentous day for Nigeria. So
I agree. And Adebola, the focus of this segment is on the youth. So what do you think the government in Nigeria should do about the state of the youth?
I think before I get to that, I was just going to say, for the inauguration, personally, I think just the vibe of the people, like social media, the youth is so involved. Everyone is posting photos. Everyone is, you know, really excited. So for me, I think that's probably one of the most iconic parts of the inauguration. Coming back to the youth perspective, I think one of the issues that I would expect the Buhari government to really work on would be unemployment. The rate of unemployment in Nigeria is really alarming. We have a lot of graduates just at home doing nothing, you know, and that transcends to, you know, insecurity, that transcends to a lot of things. So I really expect this government to, you know, focus on unemployment and, you know, really look at all of the issues, you know, starting from, you know, education to, you know, just caring for the masses.
Right. I think it's pretty astounding that half of the population is youth and 2/3 of the youth population is unemployed. So I definitely think that the government needs to take more actions, because there are about 1.7 million people who want to go to these universities, but only 500,000 seats are available. So what do you guys think that the government can do to provide more opportunities to accommodate the entire population?
Well, I think that something that's very important is that we focus on what's going on in the north. You know, with the Boko Haram insurgency, a lot of those individuals are youth, and they don't have anything to do. They don't really have anything to do. So when someone comes with them with a wad of cash saying, hey, do this for me, it's gonna happen.
Right.
So the way that we stop them is by, you know, getting them involved in the community, making them, you know, a part of the community. So like, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the agricultural sector and like how much, you know, Nigeria really wants to invest in the agricultural sector. So get those people, get those kids, you know, out in the field so that they can feel like they're doing something, feel like they're, you know, making an actual difference. And like, hopefully, you know, that'll make a difference, yeah.
And Adebola, do you want to touch upon the Bring Back Our Girls?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this should be definitely one of the top things that this government should focus on. I was very, very happy when, you know, Buhari announced that the military is going to be moving to Maiduguri. He just got like inaugurated today and is like, you know, hitting the ground running already. So I am very, very happy about that. That's definitely a good sign. Instead of having people just like sitting in Abuja and, you know, relaxing and all that, they have them, you know, in the forefront of the war. And, you know, it just gives that sense of, you know, we have to do something. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I agree. Like moving the military base from Abuja to Maiduguri is like kind of a common sense move. Like, I can't believe President Jonathan didn't think about that. Like, why did it take another leader to, like, you know, make this common sense decision?
You'd think it'd be done by now, right?
Yeah, so it's really great. You know, he said this in his inauguration speech, so it's really great that he, you know, made that decision. Yeah.
Now, if we're speaking about the girls specifically, not necessarily the ones who were kidnapped, but generally the females, the female youth in Nigeria, do you think that they're put at a disadvantage, and if so, how?
I think when it comes to the area where Boko Haram is, you know, thriving, which is in the northeast, I think a lot of education has to do with women. A lot of people have to be educated, and they have to know that, you know, it's you know, probably the strongest tool you can have. You know, when people don't have an idea or they're ignorant, you know, they really don't know where to go. They're just like, okay, this is what it is and it should be that way. So we need to, you know, encourage women and girls to go to school and be educated. That's the, you know, number one step. And also, I think, you know, some of the women, you know, have been released. Some girls also have been released. I think rehabilitation for those women, and, you know, just figuring out a way to bring them back into the world, you know, and not just bringing them back to do, you know, nothing, but, you know, just keep them busy. Like most of the schools in the north that have been destroyed, they have to go back and rebuild all of the schools. They have to invest in the quality of education, because it's one thing to have an education, it's another thing to, you know, have good education. Like most graduates in Nigeria cannot get a job with their certificate. Most of the people who get jobs are people who end up, you know, traveling abroad to study. You know, so what's the point of going to school? So all of this stuff, I think, are issues that are affecting the youth. And if, you know, people don't get good education, or, you know, they don't have something to do, you know, it's always going to aspire or spring into something.
That's interesting.
Bad.
So you think that the actual academics should be targeted first?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's actually so important that you brought that up, because before we address this issue of, oh, there aren't enough seats, let's talk about the education itself. Like, is it even quality education, right? Because these are young kids. They can't necessarily teach themselves. So they're relying on their elders to teach them. So I think it's so crucial that we, you know, make sure that they're learning the right things and things that can actually help them, and so that they're not just, you know, getting a certificate that isn't going to get them anywhere in the future.
Yeah, and speaking of that, there is a population of 173 million people in Nigeria, and we have just 128 universities. So, I mean, the system itself cannot, you know, cater to the amount of people who need it. So not just the quality of education, we need more schools, you know. So yeah, I think it's definitely one of the most important things for the youth.
Definitely. There's like a 61% literacy rate in Nigeria. And that's just, it's terrible. You know, and there's also a high primary school dropout rate. And, you know, 32% of those people that are dropping out of primary school is because of lack of funds. So, you know, clearly there's, you know, something that the Buhari administration needs to work on. We need to get kids to school for free. You know, we don't have to worry about that. We're very fortunate to be in this country. We're blessed to like have the opportunity to go to school for free. And I think that that's something like, you know, all of Africa can work towards.
Right. And you touched upon the literacy rate, and you actually witnessed some of the consequences of that firsthand. You were speaking to me earlier about the letters that actually come in to the team here at Sahara Reporters. You want to tell?
Yeah, like, you know, working with the editorial team, you know, we get a lot of articles. You know, sometimes, you know, they're great. It's like, but, you know, sometimes, like, I'm kind of disappointed at the level of, you know, grammar and the syntax, all of those things. You know, it's difficult. And like these are people that, you know, have gone through the education system, the university education system. So, you know, you can see that there's something wrong with the foundations.
Exactly. Just goes to show that it's not as effective as we really hope it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. It's not at all. I can say from personal experience,
Exactly.
I studied in Nigeria before I came to the United States to do my master's program. And it's funny because if you compare, you know, the level of dedication of the teachers, the degree in which they take, you know, education to, like, it's just very different. Like, it just feels like you didn't even go to school.
Right.
So I think we need to invest a lot in infrastructures, in lecturers, teachers, professors, you know, pay them better, make sure they have, you know, a good life so they don't feel like, okay, we're just coming to do what we have to do and get out.
Make sure that everyone's happy, because when you have a happier workplace, you're going to make sure that you have happier results and people that are actually, you know, studying. So one other thing that we can kind of like take a step back for is about child brides and how girls between the ages of 9 and 14 are getting married off. So before we even address this issue of education and how this education should be structured, let's address these cultural norms and the fact that we think it's okay for a 9-year-old girl to get married off to a man she barely knows who's so much older than her, probably old enough to be her father. Do you think that there are other cultural norms that we need to take care of first before we can even get these children mentally prepared and psychologically prepared to go to school?
I think the issue definitely starts from the home. Most people already have that culture in some parts of Nigeria that, you know, a girl should get married. She doesn't really, you know, contribute that much. You know, she's gonna be married up to somebody else and whatnot. So people need to change that mindset of, you know, a woman can't really contribute. Like, once people have their mindset that, you know, a woman can be just as good as a man, you know, maybe things might start to get better. And aside from that, it still comes down to education. Like, most people just think it's okay. Like, they don't know. They don't know any better. Like, they're just like, okay, this is what it is. So, you know, a lot of education and, you know, enlighten people and letting people know that education is the key. So.
All right. So thank you, Muhammad and Adebola, for joining us. Please join us for the live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you for tuning in.
This is IYANYA Hosa, Founder, Executive Director of Pathfinders Justice Initiative, and you're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Dimeji Anwale. You're watching Sahara TV. Don't touch the dial. Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
My name is Boss Zijana, the CEO of Corporation of Lagos, Nigeria. Keep watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi, my name is Kibonen Fee. I'm a fashion designer. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Hi everyone, it's Nkechinyere Urum Eke Jumbo, or I Tweet Niger, and you are watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa. Yeah!
My name is Joy Ikedima Jacob, the director for Miss Nigeria USA pageant. You're watching Sahara TV, Everything Africa.
Keep watching Sahara TV. Sahara TV. Sahara TV. Oh. Hey. Keep watching Sahara. Everybody, come on, say Sahara TV.
My name is Omoyele Showore, and I am an executive producer at Sahara TV in New York.
Well, my name is Fungai Maboreke, and I'm a talent scout. I'm also a presenter.
My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. I am the host of Dr. Damages and also the Roundtable. I do a little bit of production and directing here at Sahara TV.
My name is Adiola Fayon. I'm a producer at Sahara TV and a presenter.
Hi, my name is David Miskis, and I'm an editor and social media manager at Sahara TV.
Sahara TV is this very interesting television system or station that is internet-based, that discusses everything Africa, using everything possible to get information, to get footage, to get opinions, views. It's the most groundbreaking thing to happen to television in Africa.
Sahara TV is unique in the U.S. and in Africa in that it is directed by ordinary people with concerns about how their democracy can grow.
Sahara TV is the TV of the people, by the people, for the people, a democratic platform. It's actually democracy in practice, yes.
Unlike mainstream news outlets that maybe go to certain sources, like from a government perspective or like from certain experts' perspective, or certain even general perspectives on Africa, like from the idea of development or from NGOs, things like that. Sahara TV really tries to get a wide variety, including, and most important, I think, is the citizen journalist perspective, the people on the ground living in the situations on which we're reporting.
We have missed the Industrial Revolution. This is the information age. And I think this is a chance for Africa to catch up with the rest of the world. And until we explore that and we use it to our maximum potential, we may miss another opportunity to catch up with the rest of the world.
This is really people-centered news, and it has a different sound, a different tone, and a different truth, which I think is invaluable.
We are rising because in terms of our viewership and in terms of the quality of people that we bring on the show. So I'm thinking that the sky is the limit.
Sahara TV will become the reference for change in Africa, especially for change in Nigeria.
It is going to be great because this is television driven by ordinary people.
The future of Sahara TV will have government policymakers, analysts, acting upon what they hear on Sahara TV and including that in policies to make Africa a better place.
Well, Africa itself is innovative, and Africa, as we know today, has one of the largest concentration of mobile technology. So Africans are not strangers to technology. You've seen that in Egypt. You've seen that, as we were told recently, that the richest man on earth who ever existed actually came from West Africa. So, but the most important thing is that Africans right now, or Africa, the African continent, can make use of the innovation that comes with the mobile technology that we have so much embraced. And this is the age that Africa cannot be said to be behind other continents in terms of embrace of technology.
Sahara TV.
This is who we are.
Everything African.
Sahara TV. Sahara TV. Sahara TV. Keep watching Sahara.
The dividend of our nascent democracy is dripping down to the people gradual by gradual. The transformation is in progress, and the progress is